contribution to make, requiring nothing more than what you already have. It's literally in you, your memories. Stand ready to tell it like it is. We've come to the end of today's program. I'm Joy Kelly. Thanks for listening.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
2 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. It is Monday. It's Monday, May 20, 2024. We are alive and well, and for that we give God thanks. Good morning to you if you're listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9. Thank you so much for joining us on your radio. We appreciate your company there. If you are listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us on YouTube. If you have not yet subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Also click the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we go live or whenever we post a video. Now, this channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide 90 FM Live. If you have not yet subscribed, it's free and easy. Just click subscribe and click like while you're on this video. Click the notification bell. Watching from Canada, Ricardo Hall says in the YouTube chat, he says it's a holiday here. Which holiday is it in Canada today? Ricardo, tell me which holiday it is in Canada today. Or maybe when we join Nadine in Victoria Day. Okay. Happy Victoria Day to all the Canadians out there. All right. And if you're listening from your mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, good morning to you. And those on our website, the Listen Now option there, good morning to you as well. Thank you so much for joining us on all the different platforms that you are on. We appreciate your company. All right. It's Monday, which means it's Immigration Mondays. All right, and inside the Immigration Mondays, we deal with immigration-related matters related to Canada or the United States. And we are usually joined by U.S. immigration attorney Opal Lee and the Canadian immigration consultant Nadine Mahabir. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Miss Nora. Good morning, Miss Lee. And good morning to our wonderful listeners and viewers. It is Victoria Day in Canada, Miss Nora. So a very happy Victoria Day to all our friends who are listening.
Happy Victoria Day. And what is Victoria Day in celebration of?
She's, of course, the Queen's mother or grandmother, I believe. And she's called, I guess, the mother of Confederation, Nora.
Okay. All right. So I guess celebrating, honoring the forebearers there in Canada. All right. So happy Victoria Day. So you have no work today. You're going to, after this, go home. Well, I don't know if you're in your office or you're at home. I don't know where your office is. But relax when you're done.
I wish, Nora. I wish. Unfortunately, or I don't know if I should say fortunately, it's not a holiday in Jamaica. So, yes, I'm still working.
The work
today.
continues. Such are these things. All right. And Opal, are you there?
Hi, good morning, Nora. Good morning, Nadine. Good morning to our wonderful listeners and viewers. Happy Monday and happy Victoria Day to you, Nadine, and to all the other persons in Canada.
No holiday for you, Opal. It's a regular working
Isn't
day.
it a
No,
holiday
our
these
holiday
days
is
as
coming up next
well?
week, Monday, Nora. Do we get off? Because it's Memorial weekend that's coming up, but
Oh,
that's
oh,
Monday.
oh, oh, okay, okay. So next Monday. No, you don't get off, Opal. I'm so sorry. You have this work to do at least. All right, all right, all right. So, if you're new to this program, it's a program where we look at immigration related matters for the United States and for Canada. We do take your calls if you have any questions. But before we go into your calls, we allow for the ladies to give us any updates, immigration related updates, or anything that they want to remind you of as it relates to immigration in either country. So, I'm going to start with you, Opal, and then Nadine.
All right. So not really an update, but I'm pretty sure you heard about what happened last week. I think it was around Tuesday or so. So it was after the Monday program where we had so many immigrants that were, that crash
Yeah,
that happened in Florida.
yeah.
That was really, really sad. And it's just hard to see that, we have so many hardworking immigrants, trying to make a better life for themselves and their family members and assisting, whether it's the US, Canada, and to see that so many lives were lost. I think it was like what is it? 38 were hospitalized, and about 8 people at that time were killed. I think the numbers maybe have changed. But of course, my condolences, and that was just a blow to the immigrant community.
Yeah.
One thing I would like to remind our listeners and viewers, Nora, is that if you're traveling outside the United States and you have an I-751 that's pending, meaning there is a condition on your residence, you're married to a US citizen, it was under 2 years, so you got that green card that has an expiration of 2 years. If you're going to travel to Jamaica or anywhere else, please make sure that that 2 year has not expired. And if it has expired and you have already sent in your I-751, please be sure to look at the receipt. The receipt says, normally they were giving out like a 24 months extension on your card while it's pending. If it's 2 years from the date of the card that's on your card, not 2 years from the date that you get the receipt. I recently had somebody who's now stuck in Jamaica because that happened to them. They thought that it was 2 years from the date of that is on the receipt. No, it's 2 years from your card. So if your card expired, let's say in 2022, for example, or 2021, and you did not renew on time, or by the time you got the receipt, it shows that it was now 2020, it expired in 2023, and then you go to Jamaica in 2024, guess what's happened? You're now going to have to apply to either the US Embassy to ask them to give you a boarding foil to return to the United States. But I think Nadine and I have always said it, just make sure you look on your travel documents before leaving the United States, Canada, or wherever country you're from. Look at the documents. And if you're in doubt, consult with a professional just to make sure everything will be okay for you to re-enter.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Opal. And Nadine?
Thanks, Nora. Nora, for Canada, what I'd like to remind our listeners of is right now, most students would have probably completed a course as of the end of April. And you will need to apply for your postgrad work permit if you plan to apply for your postgrad work permit. If you completed a 1 year course, I'm going to say make sure that you stand a high chance of qualifying for residency before you apply for that postgrad. If you did a 2 year or a 3 year or a bachelor's degree or any other program, not a problem, you would get your 3 years. But if you only did a 1 year course, please bear in mind that you will only qualify for a 1 year postgrad work permit. So again, if you did a 2 year, a 3 year, or a 4 year course, you would qualify for a 3 year postgrad work permit, which would allow you to work in Canada full-time on the completion of your studies. You have 6 months from when you receive your letter of completion or your graduation letter to apply for your postgrad. And of course, if your permit is going to be expiring before that 6 months, then yes, you do need to make sure you submit your application on time. Another thing is you can continue working. So if let's say your student permit expires in June and you apply for your postgrad in June, you can continue working for your current employer until you receive your postgrad work permit. Some employers will say you cannot continue working. That is not true. You show them the proof of submission of your postgrad and the confirmation letter from immigration to say, yes, you can continue working. And Nora, another reminder, as of the end of April, students in Canada will be able to work 20 hours per week during the school year. The immigration minister had changed it to full-time work during COVID. And since last year and the year before, they also made some changes to allow students to work full-time. The immigration minister has now changed it back to working 20 hours per week. In September, he'll propose to change it to 24 hours per week. Thanks, Nora.
All right. Just one more question for you, Nadine, before we go to the break. After you've completed your studies and you're still working, if, say, for example, you went and you did a bachelor's degree and you are done, which would mean you would qualify for 3 years working after
That's
that?
correct.
How long is the process to get permanent residency?
Good question. Great question, actually, Nora. Because you have studied in Canada doesn't mean you automatically qualify for residency. You now need to look at the different streams and see, okay, what options do I have to apply for residency? Because there are students in Canada have completed a 2-year, 3-year bachelor's degree, and they still have not met the requirements for residency. Because yes, you get points for your education, Nora,
Right.
but you also need to have work experience in a certain field. And this again is where, you look at the different options. Do you qualify under the federal skilled worker program? So this is for persons who have worked outside of Canada in a professional capacity. Do you qualify under the Canadian experience class, which is for persons who have worked at least 1 year full-time in Canada in certain jobs? Do you qualify under the provincial nominee programs? So, you have 3 or probably 4 or 5 different streams, depending on what province you're living in, to see if you would qualify for residency.
And if after those 3 years, say you weren't really paying attention to the requirements and you find yourself not qualified, then what are your options? Do you just go back to your home country?
Nora, again, a great question, because that's the dilemma a lot of students have. You have the option of, if you can find an employer who is willing to do a labor market application for you, so that, yes, you can get your work permit extension, or as Opal would say, if you found love, then of course your spouse can sponsor you.
Right.
And in Canada, it can either be common law or a married relationship. You don't have to be married to the person for them to sponsor you, Nora. If you're living with the person and in Canada, common law is 1 year.
I was just about to ask, how long is common law in Canada? 1 year.
Yes, Nora.
Interesting.
Right. So if you've been living with the person for a year, you can show that you have a genuine relationship, joint accounts, joint rental agreement, you've met family and friends, photos, all
In
of
a
that
year.
jazz, then yes.
Wow. Well, okay. All right then. So, because I know a lot of people, they think about, and we're up on the break. We're gonna go to the break soon. They think about going to Canada through education, through that the school route, but
Right.
it's not automatic that you get permanent residency after you've done a degree, for example.
No.
So, that's information that people usually leave out when they're telling you, "Look, go to Canada, go to school." It's not just go to school. All right.
That's
So
right.
thank you for that, Nadine. We're gonna take a break now. When we come back, before we go to the calls, I'm gonna allow you ladies to give your contact information for those persons who may be listening out for it, and then we take your calls and questions in the YouTube chat.
Decorate and redecorate your space with water-resistant, colorful, and fast-drying paints from Edgechem Paints. The time by Edgechem Paints, changing lives 1 gallon at a time, is
9:16.
Is your strata filing its annual returns? In keeping with the Registration Strata Titles Act, strata corporations are required to submit an audited financial statement or a copy of its accounts, prepared in keeping with generally accepted accounting principles, signed by the chairman and at least one other member of the executive committee. This must be submitted annually to the Commission of Strata Corporations within 120 days after the end of the financial year. For more information, contact the Commission of Strata Corporations at 926-9748-9.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Scientific Research Council, making science and technology work for you. With research and development,
SRC reinforcing Jamaica with added strength.
From the fields to the labs, we gather and review information.
Detailed research as the foundation,
combined with tech and innovation, working for you
to fulfill the
plan to develop and help uplift we nation. And that's the mission. The Scientific Research Council, making science and technology work for you.
For more information, call SRC at 876-927-1771.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays, and we are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. We're at the point in the program where we take your calls and questions in the YouTube chat. The numbers to call, 876-630-9371 to 4. That's 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, or 630-9374. You can also try 618-8255. And of course, if you're unable to give us a call, you can join us on YouTube. Nationwide 90 FM Live is the channel, and you can ask your questions there. Before we jump into the questions, I know there are some people who listen to this program regularly and they really just want to book their consultation. They don't necessarily want to come on air to ask their questions. So I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information for those persons listening. Starting with you, Opal, and then Nadine.
Thank you, Nora. So for Opal Lee, our phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That is 876-854-3599. In the United States, it is 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Or you may go to our website, www.flowjamlegal.com. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Nora.
All right. And the questions are already coming in on YouTube, so I'll jump to them quickly. Car Wallow says, hi, I filed for my U.S. citizenship in January this year. I have not heard anything as yet. I'm wondering if there's any backlog or how long is it or will it take for the process to be done? Married to a U.S. citizen.
Okay. All right. So no, there's not any backlog per se in the United States when it comes on to citizenship. It's just the application. If the person just filed in January or just in May, it normally takes at least, 8 months, sometimes to a year. Sometimes people get lucky and they get an interview within 4 or 5 months, but that's not the norm. So because it's very early in the game. It's just May and the person filed in January. I would say maybe another 3 or 4 months, they may be able to get an interview scheduled.
Okay, and here's another one for you, Opal. It says, if my daughter's father, who is a U.S. citizen, filed for her before she turned 18, does that make her a U.S. citizen? The filing came through and she migrated when she turned 19.
All right, so no, it doesn't work that way. So since she migrated when she was already 18, then no, she's not a United States citizen. If she had migrated before she turned 18, then she would have entered as a United States citizen. Or if she was residing with him in the United States as a legal permanent resident before she turned 18 years old, then that would be automatic. Now she will just have to, she's not a United States citizen.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Persons complaining in the YouTube chat about Canada making it difficult for persons to acquire permanent residency.
No, and it is very true, Nora. It's very sad that persons come to Canada, you spend so much money, and at the end of the day, it is so challenging to qualify for residency. I do not like this express entry pool at all. I've never been a fan of it. And, the immigration minister keeps making the score higher and higher. Like, what is the incentive then for persons to come to Canada? I don't understand it.
My theory is when Canada was calling for all those persons to come, too many people came, and now they're trying to get rid of some of them. That's my theory. Because
you're probably right.
There's no way you want people to come and then you make it so difficult for people to stay. So that's my theory. I don't know how it is, but I guess eventually Canada will cut back. Well, they are already doing that indirectly. So, right. But here's a question for you, though, Nadine. It says my PR card was expired this month, but it expired this month. I got a letter saying it was extended. Can I travel out of the country?
The person got a letter saying it was extended?
That's what the message says here, yes.
I'm going to say you need a valid PR card to travel. I would have to see those documents because otherwise you would need to apply for a travel document whichever country you're traveling to. You'd have to apply for a travel document in order to return. But I've never heard of an extension being granted on a PR card. I'd have to see that letter.
All right.
Comment.
So Dory, in the YouTube chat, if you want to call Nadine just to ensure that you're on the right side of things, or you can just give some more clarity in the YouTube chat as it relates to this letter that you got, then we may be better able to answer your question. All right, just to remind those who want to give us a call, the numbers are 876-630-9371, and that goes up to 4, or you can call 618-8255. That's 618-8255. Here's one from the YouTube chat for you, Opal. It says, my priority date is June 26, 2021, F2A category, and no interview letter. Anyone know or in the same category? They're asking, they just want to know what's the update. Where are they now?
The F2A means that it's a permanent resident that is actually filing for either a child, a minor child, or a U.S. Or a parent, a permanent resident filing for either a minor child or a spouse. And right now they're at November 15th, 2021. If this person's priority date, you said was June 2021, they have already passed that priority date. However, remember, there is still a backlog that is going on at the U.S. Embassy. So I'm thinking that this is what is holding this person back from getting an interview. So they just have to be patient. I know the U.S. Embassy, and I know you speak with them, Nora, or someone from Nationwide speak with them, and they've been promising that they're working throughout the backlog, so we could go back to the days where we could tell someone that the moment your priority date is current, and and your document will qualified, you could look for an interview within 60 months. Normally, that's how it worked back in the days before COVID. It was normally 60 days, and you could look for an interview. Now we're talking about year to 2 years. Even if your document will qualified, even if that your priority date is current, you just have to wait because of the backlog.
All right. And I just want to bring some clarity here. San in the YouTube chat is saying he knows, well, I don't know if it's a male or female, that this program comes on Mondays. So it says that. So I couldn't understand why Clif was telling Certified Chef Pamela last week about that she would have to call next month. If I remember clearly, the issue that Certified Chef Pamela was having is that she usually uses her U.S. Visa. She says she's worked in the U.S. before and she's renewed with no problem. Her daughter is in the United States going to school, Harvard, I believe, and she went to renew her U.S. visa to go and it was denied. And she was lamenting that she wanted to speak with someone from the embassy to find out why this would be, since according to her, she's always been in good standing. And because she was lamenting that she wanted to speak with someone from the embassy, I told Mr. Hughes that we have the U.S. The Ask the Consul, which is the U.S. Program where we speak with someone from the U.S. Embassy once every month. So it would be next month because we already had it this month. But I don't know, Opal, if you could take a look at her situation and maybe see if what the reason is, if you could find something why they would refuse it. I don't know, but I guess she could give you a call as well if she wants to book a consultation. So just
on that point, real quick, Nora, but real quick, I'm not going to answer the question, but real quick though, people need to understand whenever you're applying for a U.S. visa, they look at your circumstance at that given time. So, yes, if you go do an interview, if you do a consultation, I could look at the specifics, but not because you think you're eligible doesn't mean you're going to get a visa.
Right. And we said that as well. It's no guarantee when you go to the embassy that you will get a visa. On that point as well, I got a message from someone asking why is it that when you are denied a U.S. visa that a part of the fee isn't refunded to you, since they don't have to go through the trouble of printing anything in your passport. But once again, it's not a guarantee, and that's a non-refundable fee that you pay. So that's just that. So I understand people's concern, but when you sign up, you know what you're signing up for. Just as if you are, there are other fees in other areas where you pay and you just know that this is non-refundable and you won't get it back.
You know what, Nora? That would mean that the person is buying a visa.
Right. Because you're paying a fee for a process and you get denied, you move on. You pay the fee for the process and the process is now complete. Right.
You got the process.
Right. So that's the reason why you won't get a refund, because as Opal said, you're not buying a visa. So it's not because you didn't get a visa why you're going to get back a refund. That's not what's happening there. All right. So we take the break and then we come back with more of your calls and questions in the YouTube chat.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is
9:31.
Live exquisite this year with new arrival black and chrome fixtures for your home at Unique Living. Select from a wide variety of rain shower systems, fabulous faucets, and stylish sinks to suit your kitchen and bathrooms. Get uncompromised quality and style unique to you. Shop everything new at Unique Living, Jamaica's leading shower and faucets provider. Visit shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10, or call 876-755-3661 to 2.
Variety is the spice of life. That's not just true for entertainment, it's true for investing too. While stocks, bonds, and cash are effective, there are other credible investment options out there. These are alternative investments, ranging from digital options like cryptocurrencies to old school investments like gold, real estate, and private equity. You can invest on your own or via a fund with a curated portfolio of investment options.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Pamper your senses at Bodyscape at its newest spa and grooming club located at 34A Mannings Hill Road in Kingston. Their Kingston branch is offering a special on pedicures with gel polish for only $2,500 until April 30. You don't want to miss this deal. They also offer facials, massages, manicures, and waxing services. Call 876-627-9454 or message them on Instagram at BodyscapeJA. Conditions apply. Experience a world of pampering at Bodyscape, now in Kingston, Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. We're taking your calls this morning inside Immigration Mondays. We have U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and the Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir on the lines with us, ready to answer your questions. The numbers to call, once again, 876-630-9371 to 4, 9371, 9372, 9373, or 9374-630 before that, or you can call 618-8255. Nadine, Opal, we have Lisa on the line. Good morning, Lisa.
Hi. Morning, Nora.
Good morning.
Morning, Nadine. Morning, Opal. Right, so
Good morning.
I have two questions, one for Opal, one for Nadine. A friend of mine, this is for Nadine now. A friend of mine, she has a son who recently, I think he's about 19, 20, he recently applied for, I can't remember the name of the visa, but it's basically, I guess, a kind of work permit. And he went to some friend who knows some friend who got through, paid a substantial amount of money, and I guess whatever they sold him in terms of the package was supposed to be a done deal. He resigned his job and was waiting, because he was told, okay, you're going to be leaving next week or something like that. It's been about 3-4 weeks, and then he finally got back his passport, thinking, that the visa was in it and he was going to book a flight, only to get I think it was a pink slip, which said that he used to go to the embassy. What does that mean? Was he scammed? Can you shed any light?
That sounds like that's for the U.S.
That's the U.S.
Yeah, man, that's
Right, because she said it was for Canada, though, but she did say it was for Nadine.
For each. I have a question
Oh, you have a question for both of them.
Yes.
But that first question was for Opal.
Yes.
Right.
All right. But I wouldn't say, I mean, I would really have to look at that document though, ma'am. I mean, I would not like to say somebody has been scammed, but last week, if you remember, I don't know if you listened to the program, I did speak on this issue that people must be very careful of
Yes.
who they're dealing with or when you're giving monies to anyone at all.
Right.
But I can't really say someone's been scammed. I need to look at the documents to see what's going on.
Okay. So he's slated to go to the embassy. Can you still call him? That's what you're saying?
Yes, you said, when is he, well, don't tell me what date. I don't want you to tell me all that information.
I don't
but
know the details. Like I said, it's
okay.
my friend's son, and she was just sharing, the updates and
So
stuff.
then have them contact me, and I could try and help them verify the information to see if it is legitimate.
Sure. But this is my concern. I'm just trying to be quick. I think it's a batch or group of them, and I think some persons would have automatically gotten the visa, and then some are to come in, and so that's my concern. I'm thinking
automatically.
Some person got by the book with the visa in it.
Oh.
So I don't know, right? So I'll have them call you. All right. So let's move on to Nadine. So I said one question and I remember the second one. A friend of mine, I have lots of friends, applied last, I think, November, December, for the regular visiting visa to Canada, and we're now in May, and she hasn't heard anything. Is this normal? She's done everything, biometric and all of that.
The normal processing time, unfortunately, on the website when we checked last week, it was saying 181 days. Now, so yes, that's over 6 months. So just to let persons know as well, there are two ways of applying for your visitor's visa. There's the GC key logging, and then there is another portal where you can enter your information. With the portal, you have to enter your information bit by bit. It's not like you're uploading the forms.
Mm-hmm.
So if persons want to look, including your friend, want to take a look at the portal and resubmit their application, the processing may be a little bit faster than through the regular GC key sign in. With reference to your first point for Opal, I always say to clients, you do not resign your job or sell your property or your motor vehicle or anything until you have that passport in your hand with your visa in it.
Yep.
I don't understand why persons would resign their jobs and make such major life changes until they have confirmation that, yes, they have a visa to travel to whichever country it is. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Right. So I think my friend, the one for Canada, I think she went through the travel agency. Does it matter? I think she went through the agency. So would she need to go back to them to ask them to resubmit?
She can if she wants to. Or she can do it on her own, or if she wants to contact her office, whichever she prefers.
Right. I heard a repeat number earlier because another friend of mine, I gave her the number, and she called because she's about to apply, and she went to 2 different travel agencies. And I've never gone to Canada and really never ever applied, so I wasn't able to guide her on that part. But she said she went to 2 different travel agencies, and they told her after she got everything, and they told her that if she does not have again, she's applying for a visitor's visa. If she does not have a minimum of 300,000, then it makes no sense to apply. I'm like, what? She has a U.S. visa. You're working as a supervisor for over 20 years. You have a house. Why you need 300,000, 400,000 to show that somebody is sponsoring you for vacation? So I don't know. I told her to call the office, but she wasn't getting through. So I told her I was going to call the program this morning. It's crazy. I don't know. Like I said, I've never gone to Canada, honestly.
Okay, you need to bear in mind when you're applying for a visitor's visa, you need to show your ties to your home country, right? And you also need to show that you have enough funds available to cover the cost of your trip.
Even if somebody is sponsoring you, your friend is giving you a vacation.
Yes, you still need to show you have some savings.
Right, I get that, some saving, but there's a specific amount. I guess that's you are the expert. I don't know.
Oh, the better it is for you. That's what I normally recommend. The more you can
I
show, and
understand.
you're doing lump sum deposits.
I understand. Because she was saying, based on the type of job that she does, funds go through her account regularly. So it shows. She has a US visa, she's visited the US, she has her house, she's stable. So the fact that I don't have this money at one point for a 2-week vacation, that I was telling her I don't think that should prevent her, but then the two agencies told her, you need to go and get this. So I decided I was going to call on her behalf. So maybe she's listening, so I'll let her know.
Thank you. I'd have to look at all of her information.
Yes, like I said, I gave her the number, but she said nobody picked up, so I'm just going to check if what's on the website. That's the one you just gave, and I'm going to have her call again.
Okay, or she can send us an email as well.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Thank you so much for calling. Lisa, was it? We have Leon on the line now. Leon, good morning. Leon?
Hi, morning. I'm here.
Good morning.
Morning. A question for Opal. And a calling on behalf of someone too.
Morning.
Hi, morning. All right, question. Is for someone asking the question on behalf. So they did an interview in October last year. They're on filing for the U.S. You hearing me?
You are listening to your radio. You're listening to your radio. You have to turn off the radio because it's going to confuse you.
All right. So they did an interview in October last year. However, the medical was done later on that month, about the 25th. She still don't get a response yet. She was asked to do a DNA. All that document already submitted within a month later, but is now May and still no response.
The person was asked to do something else on their medical. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay, so that's definitely the delay. If they did the medical before and there was some issues with whatever condition or whatever happened in the medical, and then they had to redo it or do some further testing, then they just have to keep following up with Andrews. If Andrews has now said everything is cleared and Andrews has told them that they have sent over the required information and sent everything over to the U.S. Embassy, then I would advise this person, and it's been a while, I would advise this person to then go ahead and do follow-ups with the U.S. consulate by sending them an email. Just say, hey, you remember me? I'm still here. Could you just give me an update? And just said they sent over the requested information on such and such a date. So it's KingstonIV@state.gov. Kingston IV as an immigrant visa, KingstonIV@state.gov. So they could email the U.S. consulate.
Okay, thanks.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling.
All right, Leon. We're going to take a break. And when we come back, we continue taking your calls.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is
9:45.
High-low pre-anniversary promotion.
I feel we pre-anniversary, but it's all about you. All about you. High-low food stores, we've got more in store for you.
11 winners.
We're gonna make their day.
11 winners.
Taking home 40K.
That's right. Spend $4,000 or more on any 4 items, 2 of which must be high-low branded items for your chance to win a $40,000 shopping spree. It's that simple. Check out our social media pages or see the press for details. High-low, celebrating 40 years of serving you.
Your voice matters, and it's making a difference. In January 2023, you are invited to share valuable feedback on the draft regulations for our National Identification System NIDS. Thanks to your input, these regulations have been enhanced and are now being tabled for Parliament's consideration. Follow the debates and get the latest updates on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Together, we're building a brighter, more secure future for Jamaica.
Good morning, good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays and we're taking your calls. The numbers to call 876-630-9371 or 618-8255. We have Opal Lee, U.S. Immigration Attorney, and Nadine Mahabir, Canadian Immigration Consultant, on the line, ready to answer your questions. Before we go back to the phone line, just going to allow you ladies to give your contact information once again for those who may be listening out for it.
Thanks, Nora. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Over to you, Miss Opal.
Thank you so much, Nadine. For Opal Lee, our phone number is 876-854-3599. That is 876-854-3599. In the United States, it is 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Or you may go to our website, www.flowjamlegal.com. Nora, I'm just having too much fun with our
YouTube
viewers
comments
on YouTube. So, yes.
Oh my God. I was reading through some of them. I had to go back all the way up to the top to some of the questions, actual questions. But we have another caller on the line. So hopefully we can get back to some YouTube questions. But Karen is on the line. Good morning, Karen.
Hi, good morning. My question is, my husband is a U.S. citizen filing for me. And the documents were already submitted in making the application. So now we heard from the USCIS in regards to sending affidavits and stuff. The issue is, in Connecticut, when he got divorced, they'll get a recordation of filing. That's a document with about 5 pages. And I think that was submitted, not the entire document, I think the first page. And they're sending now for a decree absolute, something like that. But when you check with Connecticut at the Supreme Court, they're telling him that they don't know what that is. So he's wondering how to go about getting a decree in order to send to the USCIS.
Good morning, caller. A decree absolute means that someone is divorced, filing. For example, in Jamaica, you will have a decree nisi, and then after 6 weeks, you apply for the absolute. I've seen people made a mistake where they submit the decree nisi to USCIS, and that's a mistake because decree nisi does not divorce you. You have to get the absolute. So my recommendation to this person, if they don't know how to get the absolute, they have. I don't know if they use an attorney, a divorce attorney, when they were getting a divorce, or
no, they
didn't. They need to contact. Well, I would recommend that they contact an attorney in whatever state, country that divorce took place for assistance in getting they need proof that that divorce is final.
Okay, all right. So the court wouldn't be able to issue that until just the document.
Right. Where was the divorce take? Where did you say the divorce took place?
Connecticut.
So they would have to contact someone in Connecticut. But to my knowledge, though, I mean, I don't practice divorce law in Connecticut. I didn't realize that they do 2 divorce. They do the nisi and then absolute. But contact a divorce attorney in Connecticut to get that divorce document. So the
All
document
right.
that they have, the judgment, it says a NICI on there?
No. One of the page says dissolution of marriage, final judgment. So it's a document with 5 pages.
Well,
There's
to
no,
be right,
the
if they
word
first want to do
NICI
a
is not on it.
consultation, so I can look at it for them, they could contact me, and I'll do a consultation and see if I could reach out to my peers in Connecticut about that. But if you're saying it's a final judgment, I believe something is off because maybe that is a divorce document. But again, I would have to see the documents to give specific information.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right. Quite a number of comments here in our YouTube chat. Just want to read this one. That says, I was working as a farm worker for 15 seasons. I found love, and now I am 7 years in. No worries getting my permanent residency. Woo-hoo! So I guess it works out, guys, if you found love, and that's good for you. Speaking of finding love, here's a question for you, Opal. What is the process for someone who, a Jamaican female with a 10-year visiting visa, getting married to a U.S. citizen?
Okay. So if the person is in the United States, they could do everything simultaneously, the adjustment of status as well as the immigrant petition. And it normally takes about 1 year to 2 years for them to get the green card. Could be less than that. If the person is outside the United States, meaning residing, if the beneficiary is residing outside the United States, then it's a 2-step process. You'd have to first file the immigrant petition, which may take about 1 year, 1.5 years or so to be approved. Then you will have to apply to the U.S. National Visa Center for the second part, which is the immigrant visa. And as we can see before with some of the other callers, there is a backlog right now for consular processing filings.
Right. Here is a question for you, Nadine. It says, I did a renewal application for my son, who is a permanent resident in Canada, for his U.S. visa, but his passport expired. How do I update his new passport number to his application?
That question is probably for Opal, and I have a question for Opal as well. If someone has a spouse in the U.S. as well as an adult son, who would be better to sponsor the person?
If they have a spouse and an adult son?
Correct.
So if the spouse is a U.S. citizen, not permanent resident, correct? The spouse a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Then if the spouse a U.S. citizen, and make sure that the marriage is good, they didn't buy love, they found it, then I would say the spouse is better. The reason being, if they're married to that U.S. citizen, they could get the green card faster. They could get the U.S. citizenship even faster, because if you're married to a U.S. citizen, after 3 years, you can apply for your U.S. citizenship. Whereas if it's only a son or a daughter that's filed for you, it's 5 years for that U.S. citizenship. But if there's any problem at all with the marriage, I would prefer my child file for me, because can I say I don't think my child is going to abandon me or threaten me or divorce me or anything like that. So it's really up to them.
Okay, thank you. And then the question about the passport, I think that one's for you, Opal.
Right, because you're saying the person's an F2A. Go ahead and repeat that.
It says, I did a renewal a renewal application for my son for his U.S. visa, but his passport expired. How do I update his new passport number to the application?
Okay, so if his passport has, if you could send they could actually contact the U.S. Embassy, just send an email to them and let them know that the passport has been renewed. And so when they go to the interview as well, they will alert them. But you can contact them prior. If you need assistance with that, they can contact us. And I normally say, on this program, make sure your passport have at least 6 months or even a year. If it's about expiring, I would say no. Renew your passport before you try to renew your visa.
All right. Let me see if I can just get one more question in before we allow you to give your contact information again, and then we go to the break. A lot of laughing and chit-chatting happening in the chat.
Nora, sorry, I want to address one point real quickly.
Sure.
person mentioned express entry and applying while you're outside of Canada. That is great. Yes, you can see if you can meet the requirements for express entry. And that's why I recommend to clients, Nora, do a consultation before you leave so you know what your options are. Thank you.
All right. Here's the final one for you, Opal. It says, my friend was on filing. She decided she doesn't want to live there anymore. I'm assuming this is for the U.S. and would rather just visit. How does she get the filing off her file?
Oh my goodness, it breaks my heart. What did the U.S. do to you? Why you don't want to live there anymore?
I mean, she wants to visit.
Well, she would have to send, a letter in asking for the I-130 to be, let them know. And I don't know what stage it's at, Nora. I know we're at the end of the program. I don't know if the I-130 is still pending with USCIS. I don't know if that was already approved and now sent to National Visa Center. So I know if it's at the National Visa Center, then she will have to communicate with the NVC through the portal, let them know that she no longer is interested in an immigrant visa. It has been posed as challenging because the U.S. Embassy will still have it in their system that you were at one point having immigrant intent. So now applying for a visiting visa, it could be a problem because they're like, why you change your mind? You're sure? And we had it that you wanted to live in the U.S. Now all of a sudden you don't want to. We don't chance it. So that could still be a problem getting a visiting visa.
All right.
Because at one point she had immigrant intent.
All right. That's where we're gonna leave. We're gonna allow you ladies to give your contact information before we go. Starting with you, Opal.
Thank you so much, Nora. So for Opal Lee, our phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That is 876-854-3599. In the United States, it is 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. Or you may go to our website, www.flowjamlegal.com. Thanks, and over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. The number for Nadine Mehabir is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391 in Jamaica. In Canada, sorry, it is 1416-249-5885. That's 1416-249-5885. Email is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Miss Nora, and thanks to our YouTube listeners and viewers for the entertainment. Have a great week, everyone.
All right, you too. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week. That's where we're going to leave it for the Consumer Hour this morning. We make way now for Clif Hughes Online.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
We are away first time. Coleman got a solid start, but not a spectacular one, but he's into his running now. Gatlin's trying to go with him, but it's going to be Coleman's night here in the night sky of Doha. He's in a class of his own, and at last, Christian Coleman has the title missing from his CV. He's done it, and in a massive time, 9.76. Gatlin got the silver. DeGrasse took the bronze.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Christian Coleman, 60-meter world champion and 2019 100-meter world champion. Follow my progress in Paris on Nationwide 90 FM.
This time signal is brought to you by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Jamaica's business ministry.
The time by the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce is
10 o'clock.
Clif Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes. I stood proud, I stood tall, high above it all. I still believed in my dreams.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255. Or find us on Facebook at Nationwide News Network and follow us on Twitter at Clif Nationwide. You can also listen to Clif Hughes online live on the World Wide Web at nationwideradiojm.com or via the Nationwide 90 FM app on your mobile phone. Now, here's your host, Clif Hughes.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's get to work.
Says is brought to you by Educom Credit Union, providing value through service.
Clif says, what's on his mind? Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see.
Good morning. Good morning. I trust you had a good weekend. You are well rested and are prepared for the working week ahead. It's a Monday morning, of course. Monday, May 20. And this morning, it's a Monday morning on which we have some heavy matters of state to deal with. And it's a morning on which the Jamaican people who are paying attention will have to make up their minds or seriously consider what they have on offer. They have several things to consider. And you know, in the cut and thrust of politics, as I said last week or 2 weeks ago, the political tide can ebb and flow. You never know. Because in politics, a week is a long time. This morning, the opposition leader, Mark Jefferson Golding, is in a serious spot of bother. It's a British way of saying you're in trouble. You're in a spot of bother. Yes. Mr. Golding, last week, virtually upended the constitutional reform process. Let me use a simpler word, derailed it. when he declared that, listener, if you're not going with full decolonization, we're not going to participate at all. This notion of going through a phased process must come to an end. He says, you either go full decolonization or nothing. He added, we will wait. We will wait. This is after they reluctantly agreed that, listen, they're going to participate and go through this phased process because there are some things that we have consensus on and some things we do not have consensus on. We have been at this issue of constitutional reform for more than 30, 40 years, and we have made very little progress as a people. So the approach, taking it on a phase basis, some people say yes, some people say no. But then Mr. Golding added a couple of things to the debate. One of those things had to do with dual citizenship, whether those who sit in the parliament, those who can make law, those who have the most power to influence how you conduct your life, your chances in life, is impacted by the laws of the country. He wants those persons, some of them, to have dual citizenship here in Jamaica and elsewhere. And he says, listen, man, we must now change what has been a long established principle by his party, position by his party, yes, coming out of the 2008 legal challenges to several sitting MPs because they were dual citizens of Jamaica and the United States of America. After the close elections of 2007, just step back a little. In 2007, we came out of those elections 32-28. All you needed, yes, 2-3 seats, and you'd flip the government. And the PNP went on a deliberate campaign to go after those Jamaican MPs who had dual citizens, who were dual citizens of Jamaica and the United States of America. And there was a moment when it looked as if the Bruce Golding government could fall. They went to court, and that didn't happen. In the case of Daryl Vaz versus Dabdoob, the court says yes, he is the holder of an American passport that he has renewed, and by renewing it as an adult, he was showing allegiance to the United States as well. And the court said the elections must be declared null and void, but they did not hand the seat. The judge, I think it was Justice McCullough, did not hand the seat to Mr. Dabdoob. She said you had to have a rerun. Mr. Vaz dutifully renounced, contested, and won. But several MPs found themselves in that position. I recall the late Shahini Robinson. Yeah? And that was the PNP position. So last week when Mark Golding came and said, listener, it is my personal position, not my party, my personal position, that we should now turn that on its head and allow Jamaicans who are dual citizens to sit in the parliament. It took a lot of us by surprise. Only for us to be learning now. The Constitutional Reform Committee, which had the PNP's 2 members, Donna Scott Motley and Anthony Hilton, unanimously agreed that old legacy of British colonial empire, British empire thinking where if you are a citizen of a Commonwealth country, remember now, brush up on your history, there was a time when Britain virtually ruled the world. British Empire was at its peak, and it had these colonies, far-flung colonies in the Caribbean, Africa, all over the world. And upon several of those countries becoming independent, in the period between 1960 and 1970, and still some are still colonies, those who became independent, they British somehow inserted into the Constitution with the agreement of those colonial leaders, the founding fathers, that listen, so long as you are British born, you could still be a member of the Parliament. That made it legally justified. So the legal justification was based on the fact that the colonial master, the colonial power, had bequeathed that to us, which is what Mr. Golding is now depending on to justify legally, and he's on solid legal ground. But we know, Mark, you know, Mark, all of us should know that that legal basis was a legacy of our British colonial subjugation and experience. Nothing more. So when he says he was not in favor of a phased approach to decolonization, and he made this statement about not having one foot in and one foot out, it's an amazing declaration that we now have a better appreciation for, because we didn't know up until last week when he was saying it that he was a British citizen still and stand to benefit personally.
We're not in favor of a phased approach to decolonization. We're not in favor of having 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the King's Yard. We must either be in or out. Can't be neither fish nor fowl. Time come to deal with this matter once and for all. Generations are going to have to live with this. Jamaican people should have access to justice now to their final court. It's been denied them from slavery to now. Very few cases go to the Privy Council from Jamaica each year. A small fraction of appeals that are adjudicated by the Court of Appeal here end up at the Privy Council for the benefit of the learning of the final court. I'm prepared to wait. I want generations to come to have a good constitution. I want generations to come to have access to their final court. Shanique Myrie got justice because of her access to the CCJ. She wasn't a rich person. She couldn't afford to take a case to London, but she got justice. The court.
Now, good talk. Sounds good. But what we didn't know, what you didn't tell us, Mark, that you were still a British citizen and that you stood to benefit from a change in the position of the opposition People's National Party. You didn't tell us that. It was under pressure that you caved yesterday and told the old lady of North Street that you were still, indeed, a British citizen. So you're now asking us that you, as a candidate for Prime Minister of Jamaica, you are a candidate for Prime Minister of Jamaica, that we should vote for you, notwithstanding the fact that you still have divided loyalty between Jamaica and Britain. That's what you're asking us to do. I think the answer is no. You cannot do that. You're either with us during the good, the bad, when the weather is good or we're having storms, you can't jump on a plane and go to UK. Not when you seek the highest and most powerful political office in the land. Prime Minister, primus inter pares, first among equals. No, sir. No, sir. You must either renounce or take away yourself from being a candidate for Prime Minister of Jamaica. Time for the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light.
The Time brought to you by the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. Fueling growth everywhere is
16 minutes after 10.
Welcome, Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this pack. So good, it's just so good. Welcome, Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111-4. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Total Tools Rental and Electrical Supplies is Jamaica's one-stop shop for tools and equipment rental, sales, repair, service, transportation, and parts. They almost always have it. If they don't, they will source it. Check out their pickup and delivery service and their equipment with operator for hire service. Visit their Ocherius or Crossroads branch. Follow them on social media. Call or WhatsApp 876-834-5300.
Clif says, what's on his mind? Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm.
19 minutes after 10 o'clock. So having laid out forcefully last week, in very clear, strong language, Mr. Golding now is in a box of bricks. He laid out what he considered a principled position without being totally transparent with the people of Jamaica. It was not until he came under severe pressure that he buckled yesterday. He buckled under the pressure yesterday and admitted that he's still a British citizen. He didn't let on that at all. He issued a statement on Friday or Saturday it was. I'm a born Jamaican and have a Jamaican passport. I've never hidden the fact that my father, who came to Jamaica from the UK, had got me a British passport when I was a young child. From before first serving in government, I travel on my Jamaican passport when I go abroad. Like other Jamaicans, I apply for visas from countries such as the UK and UK to go there. Well, if you have a British passport, you don't need to apply for a UK visa. So when did you give up your British passport? Yes? Then he says, Jamaica is in the Commonwealth and our current constitution requires Commonwealth citizenship and at least 1 year's residence in Jamaica in order to be eligible to be a parliamentarian. Over the years, says Mark Golding, parliamentary candidates with Commonwealth passports have therefore legitimately participated in general elections to become MPs and sat in the Senate. On the other hand, the current constitution prohibits non-Commonwealth citizens who have pledged foreign allegiances from being parliamentarians. And this is a kick. The constitutional reform process should reconsider the current rule and make it accord with what he calls the realities of the Jamaican experience. His two members on the Constitutional Reform Committee, Senator Scott Motley and Anthony Hilton, MP, did not raise this there. The committee unanimously agreed that it was going to abandon this provision, which is a British colonial legacy. The same British colonial experience that Mr. Golding wants us to leave full-fledged behind, nothing more to do with it. And the question is, why? Now we know. Because if the new position of the Constitutional Reform Committee is adopted, then he could not continue to sit. Huh? Or he would have to renounce. So the question is, does he renounce or not? And just think of it politically. Politically, if he were to renounce now, could it repair the damage he has done to his brand as candidate for PM? I suspect the damage is almost irreparable. I heard the Prime Minister this morning on CVM at sunrise saying that the damage was virtually incurable. Incurable. Never say never in politics. Yes? What Mr. Golding has done himself and his party, a serious blow. He has dealt them a very serious blow. Let me refresh some of you the history, and especially the younger ones listening. This issue has history, you know. For more than 50 years, the PNP hammered the late Edward Seaga, the former JLP leader, for more than 50 years because he was an American born. He came to Jamaica too, renounced his American citizenship, and the PNP did not allow him and the JLP to forget it. Mark Golding is born here. But why continue to have a British citizenship? Especially after you become hear me, both become Prime Minister. After you become PNP leader and candidate for Prime Minister. 4 years ago, I don't understand it. It is political stupidity or what? You tell me. You know you are now a candidate for Prime Minister. Why continue with it? If you're born here, you grow here, everything is here. You know, get up. And then when you try to explain it away, you lied by omission. You lied by omission. Huh? No. No, sir. I don't know how you're going to fix it, you know. Yeah? And they are, I gather, serious rumblings and questions now by some members of the party, the PNP, over how could he do this? Is it a fact that some 2-3 years ago, the PNP adopted a position that it would not support its members who are attorneys, long-standing attorneys who have done well at the profession? It actively discouraged them from applying to be what was then Queen's Counsel, QCs. I am being told that, yes. And in the case of one person, when they applied, Mr. Golding told them, no, don't apply for QC. It doesn't look good. It's not in accord with our position on leaving the monarchy and the Privy Council. Well, I gather that person this morning is mortified, angry, and fit to be tied when she learned that he was indeed still a British citizen, holding on to the privileges that come with being a British citizen. It's amazing. I've seen a lot in politics, but this one, this is entirely self-inflicted. Entirely self-inflicted. This morning, the Prime Minister was on CVM television speaking to the issue of constitutional reform and whether we should go with the CCJ as our final appellate court or stick with the Privy Council. Yeah? Here's what the Prime Minister told Dennis Brooks and Yendi Phillips this morning.
Our position is that a final court should be a Jamaican final court. Mm-hmm. However, whatever ends up being the final court should go through this process of an indicative referendum. The people should have a say on it. Mm. That's number one for us. People should have a say. And secondly, if we are having a final court to be repatriated, it shouldn't go to Port of Spain. It should come to Kingston. That has been our position. Mm-hmm. Now, on the matter of the final court, because we are saying to the people of Jamaica, we also want to hear your view on it. It may very well turn out that the view of the public is that it should be the CCJ.
Right.
So what we don't want to do is to go to the situation in prescribing to the people of Jamaica.
So you
this is what it is.
So you have a position, but it's not a hardline position.
No, our position is, first and foremost, let the people decide it. Mm-hmm. Right? What we would like to see is this, but really, the people should decide it. What the PNP is saying is, don't ask the people anything. Just go to the CCJ. Now, let's be fair. There are many people in Jamaica who have not expressed their view on the CCJ.
Correct.
And are very silent about it because there is a view that is carried by persons who are authoritative in the society. But quietly, there are those who might be saying, you know what, let's think about it. The other problem with it is that we need a process. In the same way that the issue of the Republic, we have put it through this very intensive process of public debate. So too should that go to that intensive process of public debate. These are fundamental things, as the leader of the opposition said, and therefore it can't be that because one political party has a particular view on it, then that is what we must do. Mm. It is unreasonable.
I understand.
Absolutely unreasonable.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. We're going to have more on that interview with him this morning on CVM after the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light, and I held firm.
Payroll made simple and secure. Get automated with BizPay, an integrated payroll and HR solution powered by MC Systems. Contact them today. The time by MC Systems is
10:31.
Your voice matters, and it's making a difference. In January 2023, you are invited to share valuable feedback on the draft regulations for our National Identification System NIDS. Thanks to your input, these regulations have been enhanced and are now being tabled for Parliament's consideration. Follow the debates and get the latest updates on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Together, we're building a brighter, more secure future for Jamaica.
Building wealth the smart way means you have a clear mission for your money. Specific and measurable means defining the reason for your financial goals. Achievable and realistic means keeping those goals meaningful, yet attainable. Think more retirement, less world's richest. Timely means keeping a time frame in mind so that all efforts remain focused.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
Clif says, what's on his mind? Unfiltered analysis and commentary.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright.
28 minutes going up to 11. The Prime Minister was also asked this morning about the stalled constitutional reform process. Yes? Given the turn of events last week, this was his response.
In the 90s, quite a bit of work was done on constitutional reform. There was a committee of Parliament that did a report, and it was quite good work. When we were about to celebrate our 60th year of independence, I paid close attention to calls coming from various quarters, including past leaders of the country, that it would be an excellent opportunity for Jamaica to contemplate becoming a republic. It seized my mind as something that was important, and I too felt that at 60, it is time that we seek to become a republic and truly define our independence, move our independence into another form of it. Now, to do that, it was not a straight line. It was not a simple activity, and we considered it very carefully. We thought about the work that was done before, and we recognized that it was dated. It was done at a different period of time. An entire new generation would have emerged since then, and their views ought to be considered.
Yes.
And therefore, our approach to it is that we should not just abandon the work that was done to start all over, but to put in place a committee that would review the work. My understanding of statements made by the leader of the opposition and in letters written to the Minister of Constitutional Affairs is their initial position was that we should just go ahead because they also agree that it is time that Jamaica became a republic. We thought it better to have a process of review because we needed to have taken into account the views of a new generation that has emerged. And Jamaica has become such a diverse country with many, many views. So the nature of our democracy is that we would have to include those views. The opposition, having said go ahead, then they did not want to name members to the review commission. We sorted that out. We had a Vale Royal talk where we explained what the process is. They raised the issue of what would be Jamaica's final court. And we said, look, the process that we're putting in place is a multi-phased process that will deal with all the issues of our constitution. the first phase of it is that we deal with the one in which we have agreement. So in other words, the frustration that you're feeling could be avoided, like many people in your generation, my generation would feel, if we were making positive steps.
Right.
So step by step, we could achieve the notion of full and complete independence. After that Vale Royal talk, and after we explained that there is a multi-phased approach, the opposition agreed, and we proceeded. When we proceeded on good faith, that we would be able to do what we agreed on now, and then we move on to the other matter of the CCJ. And our position on the CCJ has been very clear. I established that position in 2015, thereabout, when I explained that from our political perspective, from our party, we believe that if there's going to be any change in our final court, that this is a fundamental change to the architecture of the country, the governance and political architecture of the country. And therefore, this is a matter that should at least benefit from an indicative referendum. And it is one of the matters that we had spoken about as part of a kind of grand referendum. So that people could have a say, because what we have been picking up from our soundings and our research, and even during the period of consultation for the CRC, the Constitutional Reform Committee's work, that it is not a position where it is settled. It is not a settled position nationally.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Well, this is now the hot button issue, and Mr. Prime Minister has been very tentative. He had been promising to spell out his government's position on the CCJ. And listening to him there, he is still very cautious. Yeah, tiptoeing around it, because the country, frankly, is very divided on it. The country is divided. And now I'm learning that the streets are shifting from the CCJ to retaining the Privy Council because of the judgment in the Vibes Cartel case. That is running on the road now. Yeah. So it's up in the air. What are we going to do? We're going to continue to quarrel and quarrel and quarrel and get nothing done. Nothing done. Yeah? And the developments over the last 72 hours now with Mr. Golding have further complicated all of this. And the proximity to the next elections, how close we are now in the pre-election campaign season. We can basically forget any compromise, any real progress being achieved on these contentious issues. Yeah? There's a development this morning on the international scene, which I think, if you haven't heard yet, the International Criminal Court, the ICC, this morning revealed that it was seeking to issue arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, as well as the leader of Hamas in the Gaza Strip, Yahya Sinwar, on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity following the October 7 Hamas attacks on Israel and the subsequent war in the Gaza. the court's Kareem Khan told CNN's Christian Amanpour in an exclusive interview on Monday. Yeah? The warrants against the Israeli politicians mark the first time the International Criminal Court is targeting the top leader of a close ally of the United States. And of course, this decision puts Netanyahu in the company of the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, for whom the ICC has also issued an arrest warrant for Moscow's war on Ukraine, and the late Libyan strongman, Muammar Gaddafi. Yes? By applying for the arrest warrants against the Israeli and Hamas leaders, the ICC prosecutor's office is risking serious criticism that it places a terror organization and an elected government on equivalent footing. But you know, I've been saying it here, and we see the demonstrations and the protests across America and in European cities, that the world cannot sit by and just watch the mass slaughter of women and children in Gaza, innocent women and children, by Netanyahu and his coalition far-right government in Israel. History would never forgive us. So this morning, the International Criminal Court has moved. Let us see how the Biden administration will respond. Will it come to the defense of its Israeli ally? No, I hope not. You cannot continue 35,000 people slaughtered in 5, 6, 7 months. You bomb a place like Gaza. Yes, and we know Hamas hide among the people of Gaza. But the way the Israelis have prosecuted this war is nothing less than genocidal. And that's what the world community is waking up to. And the International Criminal Court is saying this morning, we've got to stop it. That is why you see the young people all over America protesting and calling President Biden genocidal Joe. Yeah. So watch this one. Time for the break. I shut up now. After the break, your calls.
Clif Says was brought to you by Educom Credit Union, providing value through service.
It's one Jamaica, so make we clean up the place. The time brought to you by the National Solid Waste Management Authority is
16 minutes to 11.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
Attention seniors, we have incredible news. Starting this May, the social pension benefit has been increased from $6,800 to $12,000 bi-monthly. If you're 75 years or older without a pension and not receiving a government benefit, seize this opportunity to sign up and start benefiting. It's more than just providing a benefit. It's about caring for our elderly. For details, call the Ministry of Labor and Social Security at 876-922-8006 24/7 or visit www.mlss.gov.jm. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, providing opportunity, stability, and social protection.
Good health starts with proper hydration. Hydrate your body with Hydrate. Hydrate is purified natural water from rocks 110 feet below the ground. You have never tasted water so great, yet so affordable. Yes, taste and experience it for yourself. Water at its best. Hydrate. Available also as purified alkaline water and ultra-purified distilled water. Bottled by LLNSCS Limited, a subsidiary of Max Pharmaceuticals. Call 876-983-6466.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
My hands were steady.
14 minutes going up to 11. At 11 o'clock, we're going to have someone who has been the subject of a dual citizen legal action. Someone who knows what it is to be caught in the middle of a storm, political storm over dual citizenship. Yes? Daryl Vaz will join us at 11. Good morning, Fox.
Morning, Daddy Hughes. What, my brethren?
Good morning, sir.
Why, Isaiah said, come let us reinstate the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Brother Hughes.
Yes, sir.
Me say me I listen to you from where you know. And I've been telling you that the Prime Minister, this Prime Minister Andrew Willis, he got to put certain things on pause and start up the election machinery.
You come back here with that again?
Me have to come back with it, Mr. Hughes. Mr. Hughes, me not know if you are in the street, the one they like me, no, Mr. Hughes. And you see the quantity went to the way you sit around with the mic, Mr. Hughes, a serious place, you know. No, I hear, even you yourself was saying to Mr. Bruce Golin, if in think, they should have bring in the seniors like Bruce Golin and PJ Patterson. Mr. Hughes, that's a foolishness. That's not going to work. Because seeing and knowing the PNP over the years, they might simply well tell us PJ Patterson talk with the PNP. Mr. Hughes, you have to use your head, you know, Mr. Hughes, and read the thing right, you know. Because when we listen to Peter Philip the other day, Thursday gone with your two hosts. And when I was listening, I was thinking, I was hearing Mr. Philip say, come, let us get on with it and put aside party difference. He didn't really go down that road, Mr. Hughes. He didn't really go down that road, you know. So I am saying to the Prime Minister, and this thing when we hear happening with Mark Golin and the British, something was clearly afoot, Mr. Hughes, from day one. I will listen to you Tuesday with you, Small. And one of the things I hear, he said, although he must tell you that he missed out a few of the meetings, but when he get the document to read, he couldn't go through all of that one time and just say, the thing was born to stall, Mr. Hughes. From day one, it was born to stall. And let me tell you something, the Prime Minister just have to just gear up now, because everybody is just looking at election. And for me, Mr. Vaz soon come on, so you can ask him. The best way to start right now, Mr. Hughes, announce a by-election or two to get the ground ready, because this thing not going to win, Mr. Hughes.
You keep on saying that. You keep on saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know. I don't know. You seem to know much more than I do.
You know, we street with them, I in the street with them, boss. I in the street with them, me go any little corner shop, me go a grown group of people, and them I say the same thing. I see you saying now, my brethren, and we have to get the thing up and running, because We don't have enough time. You no matter where you take it, we don't have enough time, my brethren, and if we know, be careful of what we are doing, Mr. Hughes. The thing can flip. The thing can flip. And my Prime Minister, he must be very careful and work with the people, Mr. Hughes, and the man them in the party, the senior them, who in the depart along, the need to staggle up. Mr. Hughes, me can't only talk and say no more, guys. Who am I?
All right, sir.
The Prime Minister might have some yes man who say, boy, I no time it. But anyway, Mr. Hughes.
All right, Fox.
Yes, and remember to tell Mr. Mackenzie I want to talk to him related to the poor relief. I have a case I really want to put to him.
All right. Good. All right. Maestro, 9 minutes going up to 11. Good morning.
Good morning. Couple of quick things. One, last week, someday I was listening to Diane Jackson Miller and her program, and she came to the conclusion that the way she sees things, we're not going to get rid of the king in her lifetime, and maybe her great-great-great-grandchildren. And the same thing between the CCJ and the Privy Council, because the way things are going, they're not going to come into any decision.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with her. Moving also, Friday I called Tyrone, and Tyrone was making a statement about what he thinks to solve the solution, the problem would be to whether with the king or the CCJ, the two topical issues. He said that they should put it to a referendum, and that will solve the problem. So I said to him, how? He said, because if they put it to a referendum and the people vote, say for example, to get rid of the CCJ, of the Privy Council, he said then they would come back to Parliament and they would have to vote according to the people. I bowed to him at the time, but this morning I listened to George. As I still never agree with him, but I didn't have enough substance to counteract him, so I give up. This morning I listened to George, and George is against that. And the argument that George put forward is this: I should have told him, if you put it to the people, for example, vote, say you want the king or stay with the king, and the people say, leave, don't have the king. Now, when they go back to Parliament now, it's supposed to be 2/3 majority of vote houses. Now, the people in the lower house, the Parliament, they would have to vote according to what the people say, because the people put him there. However, as George was saying this morning, the senators do not have to vote to do that, because the senators are supposed to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
So it will stagnate again.
Mm-hmm.
And if you listen this morning, concluding with him and Mac, of course, Mac with the foolishness about him pay taxes and so on, and George, I try to tell him, but a point that George makes, which nobody had mentioned before, is that the population, we have more Jamaicans living abroad than the Jamaicans who live at home.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to allow them to vote, then they could swing the thing one way or the other against what we are the minority in this case,
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
You were listening, George, this morning?
No, I didn't hear
He and Mark clash, and Mark talk about him pay taxes, and but George said, but we pay taxes out here too. So he's saying that they have a point that George should put to him is that he is saying that the diaspora people have new ideas and brilliant ideas. What George should have said to him, many of the new ideas that they have, we can well do without it. For example, over there in their country, their new idea is that man can marry to man.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are going, and we are going to get updated. You have a case, I'm going to close now, where I heard Muta Baruka with it, where there was a child who said he was a cat.
Oh.
Yes, man, and he went to school, and they have to, I was discussing with somebody, that cat passed the visit, the litter, this person say, they have to put it in the bathroom for him to pass it and so on. And he go meow to one teacher. And the teacher no meow back to him and he fire the teacher.
Oh.
You can, hello?
Yes, sir. I hear you, Maestro.
And I
quite
like
extreme.
Pardon me?
Very extreme.
All right. Here, one that is not extreme now. That is, we reach out here where man also call himself woman and vice versa. And if you,
Yeah, here you go ahead.
And if you know stick by it, you the person can be in trouble because the man saying he's a woman, I know call him she. You are in trouble.
Yes.
Are them law here, them want you out here as modern.
And yet, the point being, the Jamaican diaspora would try to introduce that here.
Exactly, because that's what Mackie's saying. Mackie's saying they have brilliant ideas.
Me not think them would do that. Jamaican
What they
diaspora.
wouldn't do?
No, them couldn't do that. Them know
Mr.
Jamaica.
Hughes,
They
Mr.
know
Hughes.
Jamaica. They couldn't do that, sir.
Listen this, I'm not saying they could or not, no. I'm basing what Mac said.
But that is an extreme example. Don't
Which
be
one is the
distracted.
example? You can't,
Both of all the examples you cite.
But
Yeah?
Mr. Hughes, there was a protest or something like that at the university sometime last year where they have this idea with the pronoun she and something like. You remember about it, and the Christian group come in it. You remember what it?
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
Right. So probably things like that those things infiltrate from America, you know.
Yes, but the point I'm making, sir, is that there is a case to be made for how we can better utilize the Jamaican diaspora into our governance systems here. Yes, and we must not be distracted by these extreme possibilities, however remote they are. Let us focus on how we can better utilize their skill set, because what they have been saying, we're only interested in them for their money, their remittances. Yes. And I think it is not beyond us, if we think about it, how we can better utilize them here and include them in our governance systems. That is what we need to focus on. Don't be distracted by the extremes. Yeah?
Okay.
All right, Maestro.
All right, thank you. Okay.
Good. Take care. Yes. All right. We are going to go to the break, and after the break, we're going to be joined by former dual citizen MP minister, now, one Jamaican, citizen, not dual anymore, Darivaz, after the break.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Listen to Nationwide 90 FM on 90.1,
90.3,
90.7,
90.9.
or visit our Flow channel on a 916. To our valued listeners, for questions, comments, or concerns about our programs, email us at programs@nationwidenewsnetwork.com.
Clif Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be.
All right. This issue of Mark Golding's personal position against his party's long-held view, yes, against dual citizens sitting in the Jamaican parliament has blown up now, given the pressure that Mr. Golding came under, and buckling under the pressure. And now we're learning this morning in an interview with the Gleaner, finally admitting that, yes, he is still a British citizen. Well, one man who has been in the line of fire on this issue going back to 2007-2008 is a member of Parliament for West Portland and the Minister of Energy and Telecommunications and Transport. Daryl Vaz, good morning.
Morning to you, Clif. Morning to your listeners.
Good morning, sir. Tell me, when you heard this morning that Mark Golding had finally admitted that he's still a British citizen, what was your reaction?
Wasn't surprised. I think this matter has been in the media for more than a week now, and I think that he should have come up frontally and dealt with it, not only since it arose, but with the whole issue of the constitution reform, for which his party is playing a critical role. His position should have been known before that, based on his recent utterances in terms of taking a personal position at a party press conference. So it's been a bungling mess, and I think that he has maybe not a legal problem, but he has a serious moral problem, and he has a huge trust deficit among the well-thinking Jamaican people. And when I say well-thinking Jamaican people, I'm not speaking about the middle class. I'm talking about people who would support him or are supporting his party, who may want to support, or who are on the fence judging to see who they should support in the next election. Mm-hmm. He's in deep hot waters.
Why? Why?
Okay, so let's just go back, because there's a lot of noise and a lot of distraction to this issue. In my case, in 2007, when I decided to run, I got legal advice. And the legal advice was that I did not need to renounce because I got U.S. citizenship by virtue of my mother at birth. But I was born in Jamaica, so I am born here too. And I got a Jamaican passport at birth. Then when it was challenged, and remember, the challenge was a legal challenge to overturn the government. It wasn't about Daryl Vaz only. It was if they got me, then they would get the other 3 or 4, and the government would change by virtue of a court decision.
Yeah, it would have lost its 4-seat majority.
So you have to put it in perspective to know that for them to come back now and take a position that they're taking now, you have to understand the hypocrisy and the desperation for anything for power. But let's leave that for the time being. So what did the court rule, Clif? The court ruled that as an adult, I renewed my U.S. passport, and that in itself was an act of allegiance. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So in this particular case, now that we know that he's a Commonwealth citizen, that doesn't apply to him. But what is the problem is the explanations or the lack of explanations that he has given in his various utterances and statements. So what do we have on the table? Mark Golding was born in Jamaica to 2 British citizens, his mom and his dad. Mark Golding did not get a Jamaican passport until he was 46 years old in 2011.
46
so
years old.
So that brings up a credibility gap in terms of where is his loyalty, where is his allegiance.
Hold on. You're saying that it is your information that
correct.
Mr. Golding did not acquire a Jamaican passport until he was 46 years old?
46 years old, 2011. And that was in the public space on the week, and I read it in the public in the media as well.
Oh.
So follow me closely. That raises a huge trust deficit for a man who was born to 2 UK citizens and was born in Jamaica. His parents didn't see the need for him to get a Jamaican passport. And that could be for many reasons, one of which is he would need a Jamaican passport to get a visa because his UK passport, his British passport, gives him access to the US and almost all other countries. Now, whether that is so or not, the decision where they made, no problem. Where I have the problem now is when he became of age to know what his status was and still did not, as an adult or as an adolescent, whatever you want to call it, did not see the need to get a Jamaican passport. That's where the loyalty issue and the allegiance. So that would say to me that he was satisfied and his loyalty and allegiance would be to the UK where he has a passport because he's a dual citizen. Okay, so follow me closely now. He then gets appointed to the Senate in 2007 and sits in the Senate for 4 years, making laws and debating and carrying on, and still does not have a Jamaican passport.
And Mr. Vaz, I have to pause you there again. I read these things, but I am very aware of what I read online, you know.
Okay, so
very wary. I don't necessarily know if that is enough of a basis to say that that is a fact.
I'm repeating what is in the public sphere.
No, depending on which public.
Put it this way. At the end of this conversation, he can either deny or accept.
Whether that is a fact, whether he didn't acquire a Jamaican passport
100%.
until 2011 at the age of 46.
And in 2011, his party became government. And therefore, Prime Minister at the time, the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller, decided to appoint him as a minister. Here's where it gets even more tricky. So as a minister, he would need to apply for a diplomatic passport to travel on official business on behalf of the government. But in order to do so, you can't go straight to a diplomatic passport. You have to get a normal, regular passport. So those steps were taken, and he got his diplomatic passport and his regular passport.
So you're saying if he had not required a diplomatic passport, he would have continued to go on as usual with a UK passport. But because of his ministerial appointment, when he needed a diplomatic passport, that occasioned the need for a Jamaican passport? Is that what you're suggesting?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So the question now is, in 2011, at 46 years of age, the only reason that we can come up with for him finally applying for a regular Jamaican passport and a diplomatic passport is because, based on his appointment and based on his change in career and now becoming a government minister, he would then need that. So if that did not occasion, and the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller did not decide to make him a cabinet minister, the question is, at 57 or 58 today, would he have a Jamaican passport? I leave that for the listeners to judge. Now, as far as I'm concerned, as I said before, this is not a tit for tat. My case is completely different. I did what I needed to do, and had I been told that there was a possibility that I could be challenged based on the fact that my mother was an American citizen, I would have renounced before I ran. But I was told by many, many lawyers, no need. And the decision against me in relation to the judge ruling that I, as a result of renewing my passport, my U.S. passport as an adult, was an act of allegiance, is still out there in many jurisdictions under question as to whether that was a right decision or a wrong decision. But guess what? Doesn't matter. I left the courthouse and I went and renounced, went back to the polls, won, and I'm still there 4 terms later. So my commitment to Jamaica is very clear. And it's unfortunate that I had to go through what I went through because it was never in doubt of what I was prepared to do to serve my country, following on my father's footsteps, who, by the way, his birthday is today, of blessed memory. So, come back to this point, Clif, and the listeners. Let's cut away the noise and the illegality, because that's for the legal luminaries. Because the fact of the matter is, where we are now, if we do in fact go to a republic, then he has a problem in relation to make a decision whether to renounce or not. But while we are not there, and we are a colony or a past colony, he's compromised. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. In the whole discourse about constitutional reform, he should have come up front and declared his position prior to appointing people to sit around that table. And for him to come to a press conference and give his own personal position as against a party decision last week is a huge issue and a huge trust deficit. And I would ask anybody to contradict my reasoning, logical reasoning. So again, I don't see it at this point as a legal issue.
What if
it is more of a moral
and political? Yeah.
Well, political. It's now probably the biggest political issue that he has faced since taking over the leadership of the PNP. Because I'm sure that there are well-thinking persons who supported him or support him, and persons within his own party that must be scratching their head this morning to come to find out by way of pressure, political pressure, for him to declare on a Sunday, after 1 week of statements and posts and all sorts of things, and trying to mix up the issues with my dual citizenship, etc., etc. It's very clear, Clif. The question that must be asked is whether we feel that this gentleman, his loyalty and his allegiance is to us in Jamaica and the Jamaican people or the UK. The second thing is, in his statement, which I have read very carefully, he says before going into government, he had his Jamaican passport and his visa. My best understanding is that he got visas in 2022 when he was going to the UK leading a party mission and applied for his UK visa. And I'm not sure if it's his US visa. And again, that is another point of contention, because it's either that he got it in 2011, as has been reported, or he got it prior. And if he got it prior, then I would love to hear. But again,
what
from what I have read, it says that once you are the holder of a British passport, you cannot get visas. So that they would have, if that is so, there would have had to be some intervention at a very high level to facilitate that. But I could understand his scenario of leading a PNP mission to UK, and the rest of them taking out their Jamaican passport with their visas and him taking out his UK at the control center. I don't think that will be a good look.
Hold on for me, Daryl Vaz. Hold on for me. Hold on. We're up on a break because you just dropping the bombs on me like that. Hold on.
You need more than a break. You need about 10 minutes.
You hold on. You hold on. Time for the break.
My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
16 minutes after 11.
Teachers, looking for a loan? Look no further. At Chris & Charles, you can borrow up to $2 million without a guarantor. We understand the difference your job makes, so here's a little extra support just for you. We know the best teachers teach from the heart, and at Chris & Charles, we're here to help you succeed. Give us a call at 876-920-4189 or WhatsApp 876-838-9028 for loan options. Conditions apply. When you think loans, think Chris & Charles.
Is your strata filing its annual returns? In keeping with the Registration Strata Titles Act, strata corporations are required to submit an audited financial statement or a copy of its accounts, prepared in keeping with generally accepted accounting principles, signed by the chairman and at least one other member of the executive committee. This must be submitted annually to the Commission of Strata Corporations within 120 days after the end of the financial year. For more information, contact the Commission of Strata Corporations at 926-9748-9.
My Mega Mart, best value by far.
With so much to do in one location, make Mega Mart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Mega Mart, the best value by far.
Clif Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me.
Welcome back. We are having an interview with the Minister of Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, Daryl Vaz, who himself was one of the first to be subject to a lawsuit over his then dual citizenship status. And he's giving us, or he's making some allegations. And I say allegations because I don't know if they're facts. Let me go back to what you said about in 2022, Mr. Vaz. What happened?
My understanding is that in 2022, he was leading a delegation.
He being Mark Golding?
A party. Party delegation. On one of his diaspora trips, I suppose. And it's at that point that he actually got a UK visa in his Jamaican passport. And the bottom line is, again, I'm saying that when you read his statement, he said before joining government, he got visas in his Jamaican passport. So he would have joined government in 2011 when the party won. But he would have been a senator from 7 to 11, appointed by the party in opposition. So I'm not sure whether or not the visa he's speaking to would have been when he became a senator or before 2011 when they became government. And I'm going to read something to you here, which I just got, which says the oath of allegiance. These are the words you say if you choose the oath of allegiance, and this is the UK oath of allegiance. I, the name, in this case, swear by Almighty God that on becoming a British citizen, I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III, his heirs and successors according to law. I will give my loyalty to the United Kingdom and respect its rights and freedom. I will uphold its democratic values. I will observe its laws faithfully and fully, and fulfill my duties and obligations as a British citizen. So, again, there you have it. He was born a Jamaican, like myself. So, again, he and I born here. He got UK citizenship from his parents. For sure his father was a UK. Not sure if his mother Jamaican or UK. And Jamaican citizenship by birth. I got my passport at birth, Jamaican passport, and I've held it ever since. He did not choose, his parents did not choose, firstly, and he did not choose when he became of age to get a Jamaican passport. And that is where lies the problem. Because the inaction is a clear inference that his loyalty and allegiance based on the fact that he had a UK passport and UK citizenship as against being born in Jamaica and did not move to the next step to get a Jamaican passport.
Until 2012. Because remember the PNP came to power in December 2011, was sworn into office in January 2012. So he would have been appointed in 2012.
So and then from there, as I said before, having a UK passport did not make him need as an essential a Jamaican passport, because the Jamaican passport obviously would have got him to apply for visas, etc., which he did not need because of his British passport and its value in terms of being able to access the U.S. and most other parts of the world. So the bottom line is, again, I'm going to reiterate it because there's been a lot of noise and, of course, the politics and the back and forth and the tit for tat. This issue is a huge moral issue, and it has a significant cloud over his head in relation to his preferred loyalty and allegiance. And that is something that the Jamaican people must take into consideration going forward, because the fact of the matter is that where we are as a country and where we are going, where the process has already started, has huge implications, again, depending on where we go and what the final decisions are.
Yes.
And I am going to say again and reiterate, where he went wrong and continues to go wrong is that he should have been fulsome in his disclosure as a leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition. This is not Daryl Vaz running in West Portland. This is a man who has the potential to move from leader of the opposition to leader Prime Minister of the country.
Yes.
But these stakes are much different. And at this moment, I know of no other leader of the opposition or Prime Minister who has held dual citizenship. If you remember, Mr. Seaga renounced before coming back to Jamaica, although being born in the United States of America.
Yes.
So you have to understand.
And we haven't had any other since Seaga near that.
There you go. So you understand the importance of this issue, not to be dragged through the political platform and up and down with the bloggers and that. This is important for the every Jamaican citizen.
What I can't
evaluate and take an interest in this and the way it has come across, the way it has been handled, which has been absolutely worse than I've ever seen.
What I can't wrap my mind around, yes, is how could it have escaped Mr. Golding's attention and action after he assumed the office of opposition leader in 2020, 2021, 4 years ago.
Yeah. So
because he's now
on the same page.
He's now a candidate for Prime Minister of Jamaica. Yes? That puts him into a completely different league. And I don't understand what could have detained him to be of the view that he doesn't see. Legally, yes, you're on solid ground. But politically, it is damaging, very damaging. What was going through his mind?
Cliff, I can't answer that. What I can say to you is I agree with you 100%, but more so, if it slipped him at that time, because remember that he really was the backup quarterback. At that point, he really had him becoming leader of the opposition, leader of the PNP
Was not in his calculus.
Was not by design.
Mm-hmm.
That was never where he was going. He found himself in a position where he took it, but I'm not sure. I mean, that he was in over ecstatic about it. But let's leave that as it may. So I can give him for that because totally unprepared, totally unplanned, etc. But then now, when the whole issue of the constitutional reform started, and he realized his position, and he realized the magnitude of the decisions that are going to be made as a result of the decision to become a Republican or not. That is when the penny should have gone off right away to say, listen, I'm compromised. Because the bottom line is at that point, nobody knew what we know today. And to make it worse, the last week of dithering and maneuvering to finally 1 week later have to come out
under pressure
is even more damning. Because the fact of the matter is that he was, as you said, he was forced, he was under pressure, and that's not going to go away. Again, why the shroud of secrecy? Why the reluctance? If it is that there's no legal issue, which he says, which you and I agree with 100%, it's not always about the legality, you know. It's about the morality. And I can tell you that whether people say it's because I am on the other side, etc. I'm a Jamaican, first and foremost. And I can tell you that the trust deficit is wider than the deep blue sea. And the trust deficit comes about because of how he has played this out and the fact that there's a real question about his loyalty and allegiance
he has
to
handed
Jamaica over the UK.
He has handed you and your party, who have been struggling politically, a gift.
Well, look here, you know, politics. I've been in politics for a long time. I mean, I won't deny that this own goal is a bigger own goal than we have scored in recent times. But let's not get distracted with that. This requires serious thought by the citizens of Jamaica, and I think his party, or should I say, I'm sure his party is huddling now, because I'm sure there are some in there that are patriotic Jamaicans, first and foremost, before party supporters. That would also have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They may not say it like how I'm saying it, because obviously that's how the system runs. But don't bother believe that they're not talking about it behind closed doors and in their own little cliques and caucuses.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've heard one voice note since morning of a comrade lamenting, in total anguish. How could he do this? How could he do this? And wondering if he's a paid laborite.
Let me tell you something. The bottom line is, I just thought it important that as somebody who has been there and my name is being drawn all over the place, in comparisons, etc., there's no comparison between my case and this case. My status then and Mark Golding's status today is not even comparable.
Yes.
Okay, I was a simple little MP. I think if I'm not mistaken, I was appointed a minister of state.
Uh-huh.
This is
the alternative prime minister.
Her Majesty, His Majesty's loyal opposition.
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Vaz, where is this going to end? Where do you think it's going to end?
I don't know. I think it will. I don't think it will go away quickly, and I think it will remain going into the next election, but without a doubt. And it is for well-thinking persons to explain it to those who may not understand the magnitude of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But let me close by saying, same knife that goes stick sheep. Today for me, tomorrow for you.
Yes.
Never dig one hole. Always dig two. One for the person you want to bury and one for yourself. His utterance about dual citizenship and supporting dual citizenship after what his party put this country through. Yes?
Yes.
It's unforgivable. It is the biggest hypocritical utterance that I've ever heard in recent times. And that's where it all went south.
Mm-hmm.
Moving from a position that you are prepared to take people to court to try and get the almighty power to come back to speak and change your tongue to fool up people to try and get a few more votes. God don't sleep in money put on in pajamas.
Thank you, Mr. Vaz.
Continue to talk. God bless you all.
All right. Time for the break. After the break, more of your calls.
My hands were steady. My eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm.
Studying overseas? Contact Versan Educational Services Kingston, Montego Bay, or New York office at 876-755-2187 or read the Wednesday blog at www.versan.org for more information. The time by Versan, VES is best, is
11:35.
If you save, pay, borrow, invest, or insure with NCB, now it's time to own a part of the NCB Financial Group Limited in its additional public offer. For as little as $6,500 in the general pool, you can own shares in the business built on strong performance and making life better for all Jamaicans. Invest in our future. Invest in your future. Offer opens May 6 and closes May 27. Apply for shares at goipo.jncb.com. Conditions apply.
Your voice matters, and it's making a difference. In January 2023, you are invited to share valuable feedback on the draft regulations for our National Identification System NIDS. Thanks to your input, these regulations have been enhanced and are now being tabled for Parliament's consideration. Follow the debates and get the latest updates on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Together, we're building a brighter, more secure future for Jamaica.
Clif Hughes Online. Talk radio for all Jamaicans.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right.
24 minutes going up to 12. Carlene, good morning.
Hi, Cliff. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. First time calling in.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just want to state to Jamaica that the action of the opposition leader is most disrespectful. He wants us to believe that we have no sense, we have no value, and we have no sense of reasoning of what is happening in the political arena. We do. We do. You cannot change the goalpost to suit your needs. It's one rule for left and it's one rule for right.
Speak up a little bit more for me, Carlene. I'm hardly hearing you.
Okay, I'm saying he should not be able to change the goalpost to suit his personal desires. When he wants to flip to his allegiance, that he should be able to have both and represent. I don't buy into that. It's straight Jamaican. I don't even buy into the diaspora serving in any of the houses. Live here, work here, bleed with us, cry with us, sweat with us, laugh with us. Then you shall be eligible for one of those houses. You being overseas, yes, and being a part of your country and living in the country, I applaud that. And you help your family or whatever church organization is, I applaud you. People here do that just the same. And they are not fighting to go into the houses. So having said that, that doesn't give you the right to be in the house, being a member of the diaspora. I don't believe into that. And I want Jamaica, well-thinking Jamaica, to look at what is playing out right here in Jamaica by the opposition and see how the government of present handle the situation. Just giving you my broad views. We don't have a Jamaican final court, stick to the Privy Council. That's my view. That's my few cents. He's not supposed to change the goalpost to suit his personal desires and political dreams. No. You were the one who started it, your party, not you, Mark Olin, but your party. And they find themselves in a pickle right now. And I don't know how he's going to go past this, because this is going to be cemented in people's forefront of their mind when they're making their decision. He is too inconsistent. What's only consistent about him? That he is inconsistent. That's my take on it.
Oh. And
that's my take on
you say they can't get past this?
No.
Why not?
You've deceived the people of Jamaica. You've led us on a track to think that you're with us and you're for us, when you had a ticket just in case all this time.
And you can't get past that?
No.
What if he were to renounce tomorrow?
It's damaged my trust. It's going to take some repairing. Not now. And I don't think the Jamaican public will allow this to die in 9 days. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think it's little Selfish. Because he wants to have his cake and eat it. He doesn't want to go republic because he knows the end of that for him. He doesn't want Jamaica to be called the Republic of Jamaica. He wants it Jamaica alone. He is covering all ends so that he is secured. And that's selfish. Selfish is just power, hunger, and, at all costs. I mean, if you look at it, this person can be very dangerous. He sits and thinks about everything long before it happens just to safeguard himself. Not necessarily the people of Jamaica, but for his party and the politics that he's playing. You don't get to me that way.
But you were beginning to accept and trust him as the alternative to the prime? No?
No, but it's for democracy in need and opposition to keep the governing party in line.
Yes.
Yes, I believe in that. But not that I've ever, full-on supported them. They have ideas and they have initiatives that are good. Yeah.
Well, so this is for you. This is Mr. Golding squandering whatever trust and confidence you were
He was building on.
Yeah. Well, how your friends feel about it?
I don't think he had a fulsome support, but people were, he was gaining traction. So he has,
Yeah. The people who in your circle, what are they saying about this?
Same thing as I'm saying. Same thing I'm saying. Not with him. Can't go past this.
It's the second time you're saying this. You can't go past this. All right, Colleen.
Thank you.
All right. Serious problems there. And that's not surprising. It's a matter of trust. That's not surprising. And trust is a very, very valuable political commodity. Yeah? It's difficult to earn, takes long to earn trust in politics, but you can lose it very quickly. Yeah? Papa Nana, good morning.
Mr. Clifton Patrick Hughes.
Yes, Papa Nana.
How are you?
I am all right. I'm okay.
I know that you have a lot of things to consider about, but did you remember one time I told you that I would not trust Mr. Golden in the Sahara Desert with a slingshot?
Yes.
And I still maintain that.
Yes.
And the last week sometime I told you that Mr. Golden have a PhD.
Permanent head damage.
Permanent head damage.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what grieved me more than all? Is some of the plantation slaves them that is following him.
Well, I don't know who you're calling. There are no plantation slaves in Jamaica today.
Okay, we don't have any.
No.
Well, the ancestors then was plantation slaves, but they're acting like some plantation slaves.
Oh, you have people who are acting like, yes.
Yes. And that's why, sometimes when you differ in certain way and you can suit everybody at all time, I really think about it hard, because I think we are selling, you are really depending on your survival and for you to speak the truth, So if you go off balance sometimes it really hurts, but I know you will come back because you have a CSD.
CSD?
Yes.
Yes. What is that?
Common sense degree.
Yes.
Yes. So we depend on you. No, Mr. Hughes. Make we get down in this part, From I hear Mr. Golden use a word that he want people with dual citizenship to sit in parliament. I said to somebody that this man is onto something. I know that something was wrong. I said to somebody that man looked to me like he is a British citizen. And you know, other day when you were trying to get him on the phone, ring and ring and ring, I said, Lord, what he can come with me come tell you. And that's why I put out a missing person report, you know.
Hold on for me, Papa Nana. Time for the break. Hold on.
My eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock.
Furniture Land at 112 Constant Spring Road is Jamaica's premier furniture retailer when searching for stylish and elegant pieces for your home. The time by Furniture Land is
11:46.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
My hands were steady. My eyes were clear and bright.
All right, we're back with you, Papa Nana.
Yes, sir. I want to ask you a question first before I finish what I was saying. Can you help me out? A Caucasian is what color?
A Caucasian?
Yes.
What we call white people.
All right. Oh, okay. Fair enough. I don't want you to get yourself in any problem. So, can I finish the missing person report now?
Yes.
Yes. So, I also said this is a missing person report. A gentleman that goes by the name of Marky G of a Caucasian color. If seen, could please report to 89 Wharf Road or the nearest police station or call Dennis Meadows at 000119. And a hefty reward is offered. But I am asking, if seen, approach with caution because he could be armed with some very harmful lies.
Let me tell you something, you see.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Why you must come here and do that?
What?
Oh, you mean? What? Oh, your missing person report.
But if you people trying to get to him and can't get to him, he wasn't missing.
No.
He was absent then.
He wasn't, for whatever reason, he couldn't answer his phone then.
Oh, very good. I tell you, say no more journalists.
You need to get your facts right.
Okay.
You should report to 89 Old Hope Road.
Yes.
Not 89 Hope Road.
Oh, 89 Old Hope Road. Thank you very much.
Good.
Okay, so I apologize.
When you write a script, make sure you get it right, Papa Nana.
Okay. That's why you are here to help out the less fortunate.
Oh, please. There's nothing less fortunate about you.
What?
Nothing less fortunate about you. You? What is less fortunate about you?
What do you mean?
There's nothing less fortunate about
then
you.
Look how much time you have to help me along the way.
Oh, please. Oh, please.
You mean no?
You're a political operative, you know.
You know me not disbelieve you.
But you know,
it's only one thing I can say to you. You're really bright enough to tell me that. You know, but I don't think you're too wrong. But anyway, I'm telling you, sir.
Yes.
He had done one of the greatest displeasure to himself and don't know. I am telling you. I am telling you. He's disappointed to a lot of his fellow men, but not to me. Because to be honest to you, Mr. Hughes, I did not expect that he would have done anything that is better than this. And that's why he's pushing for it, for this citizen, dual citizen, to sit in parliament, because he knew that he had it? He's a deceiver.
No.
Why?
No. You can't say he's a deceiver. No, don't say that. No.
Then a person who do not speak the truth is what?
No. You can't demonstrate that. Yeah? No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So me wrong again.
I wouldn't say you're wrong again. I'm saying I don't know how to defend that in courthouse, that he's a deceiver and does not speak the truth.
So, okay. So, all right. So let me ask you a simple question now. Don't you think he should have come out and while he was clamoring for dual citizenship people, look what they had done to the other people them that went to court because they believe that they could have get power. You don't think the decent thing that he should have done is set his house in order?
Yes.
Yeah. Then if a person know full... Mr. Hughes, let me ask you one question. Who you think is the blindest man in the world? Don't is a man who sees and refusing not to see?
Yes, Papa Nana.
Yes. He's blind. He's the blindest man in the world. Because he know the thing and say him don't know and him don't see. I mean, tell me now what kind of confidence can you have in somebody like that again? Tell me now. He had eroded every chance of you having any confidence in him. Right? And when him done I hear him one time, I can tell the Honorable Prime Minister, take away yourself. And him fi take away himself. Good. Take away yourself. And go do the right thing. Try and rectify it. Good. We have no confidence in you, sir. Oh.
You done?
Tell you that, sir. And Mr. Hughes, let me tell you something. You must remember that the most person who practice hatred is the PNP because you must take sleep and mark death. If it was them alone, Nationwide would never exist today.
All right. Okay.
Good.
Don't bring Nationwide into this now. Don't bring Nationwide into this now.
Yeah, well, but they sabotage it.
Yes.
And from them sabotage it, it don't give people like
yes, but don't bring Nationwide into this now. Make your point and leave out Nationwide out of this now.
Well, all right, sir. Me I left you out. Me said them is the greatest person of sabotaging them. Leave out Nationwide.
Papa Nana.
Yes, sir.
It's 7 minutes to noon. Go and have some lunch.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I am better off than when things was worse. God bless you.
Okay, Papa Nana. Thank you. Myrna. Good morning.
Good morning, Clif.
Good morning, ma'am.
It's been a little while since we spoke.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to me now. I'm going back to something you said this morning. Never say never.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? You know, I'm going into my 90th year,
Wow.
And let me tell you something. I had sworn that I would never vote again for various personal reasons, as you might know. But I have to go and get registered now. My children are going to die with laughter, I have to go. I am not registered to vote, This is the first time since I was 20, since I became eligible to vote, that I have not been on a voter's list.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get registered.
Why?
Because when the day comes, I have to have a say in what happens in this country.
Yes.
And I know now that it was irresponsible for me to withdraw like that.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't right because it's not me, it's my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, which I have now. Their whole future is at stake. And maybe one little vote might change things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just said I would try very hard to speak with you this morning, just to let you know, never say never. I swore, when they come, Mommy, you're not going to register? No, I'm not. I've finished with it, I've done my part,
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to go find a place to
So what
register.
has changed your mind?
Because of what is happening especially what happened today. And I'm just saying to myself that it's us as the oldsters who know about the politics and who know how. Do you know something? When I was a young person and Norman Manley came into your presence, you looked at him with awe, you know. You respected the man so much. He could never tell you anything that you disbelieved. Because
I never met him.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you a little thing you don't know. My father was at the launching of the People's National Party at Wall Theatre, 1938.
Yes.
Sir Stafford Cripps. We have grown up with that in our heads, you know. He told us every day.
Yes.
So we had a group in our home that met. And when Mr. Manley came to visit us, the Norman Manley, it was like, no, the Queen was coming. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We held this man in such respect. He could never tell you something that you disbelieved.
Yes.
Because you trusted his honor. And then this part, you know, I love my party, you know. And I said to myself, I am not going to ever vote again. Okay?
And you have changed your mind now.
This morning, I'm going now to see if one of my children will grant me the favor of taking me to get registered, because I'm not seeing so well these days, you know.
Oh.
And
so who do you intend to vote for now?
No, I'm not telling you that. When I get in there, I will do what I have to
do. All right, of course.
Right?
That's your right.
That's my right. I can't. I don't even have to tell any of them. They will just laugh. And they will just laugh, you know.
But you feel moved by the events of the last.
Morning, I said to myself, I'm going to ask one of them, whichever, will take me to the place to be registered.
Right.
To get my name on a list.
Right.
So that when the day comes, if I'm still here, I will still have a chance.
Right.
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Happy birthday, Myrna. Oh,
yes.
Happy birthday.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you this before.
I have to run. Yeah, I have to run for the news. Happy birthday.
I know. You are one of my great joys.
Really?
And I thank your mother for that. I know that the mothers are the ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And you have a great day here, Clif.
And thank you, and have a happy birthday. Can I get a birthday song for Myrna? Huh?
No.
We're going to play it after the break. You hear it, Myrna, because it's time for the news.
Bye-bye.
All right, good.
Bye.
We'll have to play a happy birthday song for Myrna. Time now for the world at noon.
My walk had purpose. My steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock. Like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Fast, friendly service? Check. Delicious chicken? Check. Get Quick Chick. Available at Grants Pen and Halfway Tree. Great taste without the wait. The time by Quick Chick is
12 o'clock.
It's credible and factual. The World at Noon on Nationwide 90 FM.
A very good afternoon to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the Nationwide World at Noon for this afternoon, Monday, May 20, 2024. Andrew Holness says no dual citizen should be eligible to sit as Prime Minister opposition leader, even as he supports dual nationals as MPs. And Prime Minister Holness says the PNP is no match for his JLP. Political commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang says the matter of dual citizens as MPs should be settled in a referendum. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions defends the state's record of prosecuting gangs. In regional news, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley says the Caribbean needs to remain a zone of peace. In international news, ICC prosecutor seeks arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And in sports, Jamaican Brandon King excited to lead West Indies against South Africa in home series. The details after the break.
The Midday News is brought to you by Total Tools. We almost always have it.
Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. When you're good, you're just good. Hey, had the national flavor. You go off and buy this bag. So good, it's just so good. Welcome Deluxe, the cream cracker that rises to the top. So crisp, so light, so buttery. National Baking Company, just so good.
Now to the details. Untenable and incurable. That's how Prime Minister Andrew Holness is describing the position of any Jamaican who wants to be Prime Minister or leader of the opposition while remaining at the same time as a citizen of a foreign country. The Prime Minister's position on the matter follows the admission on Sunday by opposition leader Mark Golding that he's a British citizen. The admission has sparked calls for Mr. Golding to renounce his British citizenship or resign as leader of the opposition. Dana Davey reports.
The opposition leader has admitted that he is indeed a dual citizen. How? Well, he's a Jamaican citizen by birth and a UK citizen by descent. Mr. Golding says he has not renounced his British citizenship as it's not legally necessary for him to do so. Section 39, Part A of the Jamaican Constitution says any person who, at the date of their appointment or nomination for election, can serve in Parliament as long as he or she is a Commonwealth citizen of the age of 21 years and upwards. Prime Minister Holness commented on the issue on Monday morning during an interview on CVM TV's CVM at Sunrise with Dennis Brooks and Yendi Phillips. He says persons who aspire to be the ultimate leader of Jamaica must not have split loyalties.
To be the ultimate executive leader of the country, you should have no other citizenship. There should be no question by your citizens that you lead, that you have somehow split loyalties, that you have a parachute should in case anything go wrong, that you may not be subject to the full force of the laws of the country that you serve because you are a citizen of another country. You could always find a way out.
Mr. Holness says it's both untenable and incurable that a Jamaican Prime Minister or opposition leader could also be a citizen of another country.
I think anyone in that position would be untenable, and not just that, I think it would be incurable. In other words, having gone ahead to say, I want to lead the country ultimately, and not having taken that step before, you can't cure it afterwards, because already the question is, then why didn't you do this before? Why did you carry us along and not declare this to us?
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness reaffirmed a position he first made years ago that Jamaicans in the diaspora should be eligible to sit as members of parliament.
I believe that the Jamaican diaspora is much bigger than our Commonwealth, and that the Jamaican Commonwealth is our diaspora wherever they are, and that we should allow persons with Jamaican citizenship to be able to serve Jamaicans in our parliament politically. So for me, it doesn't matter what other citizenship you have, once you swear allegiance, being a Jamaican citizen, to Jamaica. That would be my stated position.
Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
And amid the kerfuffle over his dual citizenship, opposition leader Mark Golding is contending that the JLP is fixated with his skin color. Mr. Golding, who was speaking at a PNP divisional conference in Sturgetown, St. Anne on Sunday night, used the occasion to reiterate that he was born and raised in Jamaica.
So take them by surprise, man, and shake them. As he said, the Minister of Local Government embarrassed because a local government election and it's a tsunami in the kingdom. Enough of them, they don't have them now. Till what now? It's like pure foolishness I'm talking about. Everything is my skin color. Never forget it's out of 1,000,001 people. Born in Jamaica, born at UC, grew in Jamaica. Never worked anywhere other than Jamaica in my entire life. I'm here to serve the people of Jamaica.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says despite the bounce gained coming out of the February 26 local government elections, the opposition People's National Party is no match for his Jamaica Labour Party JLP. The Prime Minister was speaking at an area council meeting in St. Catherine on Sunday.
As much as you hear some man a run up and down with them tail up in the ear and behaving like them a government already, I drink English tea. As much as you hear them a behave, they could not overturn the Jamaica Labour Party. Listen, the Jamaica Labour Party is a powerful organization. No party can beat us.
Prime Minister Holness says the Jamaican people sent a clear message to the JLP on local government election night. That message, he says, is for the JLP administration to pay more attention to the issues affecting their choices at supermarkets and corner shops.
From the last 30 years, you have been asked to sacrifice. We have gone through all kinds of hardships, and you have been asked to sacrifice. Now, we are at that point where we have a good economy and we can't take that for granted. So the next step for the country, which is to convert that good national economy into your household economy.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Holness says the JLP is now working to refresh the party's brand and messaging.
You're going to see a difference in how the party operates. Presently, I can announce that the party is conducting a review. We're conducting a review in a very scientific way, taking your opinions, gathering your views, and all of that will be put into a report, and that will inform how we rebrand, create a new mission and vision, and we go to the Jamaican people with the next mission for Jamaica.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. The Prime Minister was speaking at an area council meeting in St. Catherine on Sunday. Political commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang believes a referendum is the best way to settle the matter of whether dual citizens ought to be permitted to sit as members of Parliament. His comment follows the revelation from opposition leader Mark Golding that he is in fact a dual citizen. Mr. O'Brien Chang was a guest on Nationwide this morning on Monday.
We have a kind of a schizophrenic law that American dual citizens can't serve in Parliament,
but Commonwealth dual citizens can, and it makes absolutely no sense. Personally, I am a Canadian citizen. I have a sister who's an American citizen. I could serve in Parliament, she can't. Why? Because it's just an accident of which country you're in. It's a crackpot law, and it should be changed, and can only be changed by the people. Has to have a referendum on this one. No question about it.
Mr. Brian Chang says holding dual Jamaican and British citizenship poses particular difficulties for persons aspiring for the post of Prime Minister in Jamaica.
As a Prime Minister, I understand that being a British citizen means you cannot fight against Britain for any other country. No, the Prime Minister is usually Minister of Defence, and you can't serve in any other army also. So a Prime Minister who has a dual citizenship, say for Britain, he can't serve in the Jamaican army. How can you have someone in charge of the Jamaican army who can't serve in the Jamaican army? Again, makes zero sense. We need to put these things to a referendum and let the people decide. I'm sick of hearing politicians talk. I want to hear the Jamaican people talk and decide who they think can sit in their parliament and also the final court. That is my position. Let the people decide.
Kevin O'Brien Chang, a political commentator. Meanwhile, political commentator Helene Davis White thinks the matter should be reviewed by the Constitutional Reform Committee. The opposition leader says he is not legally required to renounce his British citizenship. Mrs. Davis White says Mr. Golding's comment may not ease the tension caused by the revelation of his status as a citizen of two countries.
Well, I think it may not be enough, but it is correct because the Constitution, as I think Kevin pointed out, does allow for Commonwealth citizens to hold office in Parliament and in the lower house and in the upper house in our jurisdiction. So it really does not require him to do it. But I think the issue of whether or not, bearing in mind what the Constitution also says about persons who bear allegiance to a foreign state, the issue having been raised in 2007, I think it is something that we should be looking at in the review of the Constitution that is now taking place.
Mrs. Davis White says Jamaica's Prime Minister ought not to be a dual citizen.
I am not comfortable with it at all because, as I said, it raises the specter of whether or not the person has divided loyalties. So, in acting, I have to be sure that that individual is acting only in the interests of Jamaica.
Helene Davis White, a political commentator. Mrs. Davis White was speaking Monday on Nationwide this morning. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Claudette Thompson, is describing as an ugly rumor talks that her office has not had much success in prosecuting gangs. The acting DPP was speaking at a prosecutors training seminar focused on improving the outcomes in anti-gang matters on the weekend.
Speaker after speaker spoke about the fact that we have prosecuted these gangs. I've been involved in 3, but we have not had much success. And I wish to put that ugly rumor to bed. We have had much success because we have seen to the conviction of the leadership of each gang that we have prosecuted. So where it is that people are prepared to look at the numbers and the numbers only, as a prosecutor, I stand here and I'm saying to you, you're not just to look at the numbers, look at the persons who have been convicted.
Ms. Thompson says there are now 5 gangs before the courts, and she says in all of the 5 previous anti-gang trials, the office of the DPP secured convictions against the leaders of the groups and most of their membership. She singled out the Wandon faction of the Klansman gang, whose leader Andre Blackman Bryan and several members were convicted.
When the verdict was delivered, we had court 1. Those persons sitting in the dock in court 1 were convicted. A few of those seated in court 2 were convicted as well. We have had success in prosecuting gangsters in Jamaica. And that is the message that I want to leave you with here today. We will continue to do the work that we're doing. We are going to get better at it. And one of the ways in which we will do that is when we come together in forums like this.
Claudia Thompson, acting DPP. A water main near the Coral Gardens main road in Montego Bay ruptured this morning, flooding the area and resulting in a 3-car collision. The St. James Police confirmed the crash. They say the incident occurred as unsuspecting motorists came up on the damaged roadway. There were no fatalities. A team from the National Water Commission, NWC, has been dispatched to the scene and has reportedly begun emergency repair work. The commission says as a result of the work, service has been temporarily suspended along the Greenwood to Flanker corridor. The affected properties include at least 6 major resorts: Hilton Resort, Zayat Ziva Resort, Iberostar Resort, Half Moon, Rio, Sandals Royal Caribbean, and Sandals Montego Bay. Witter Village Shopping Centre, Blue Diamond Shopping Centre, and Golden Triangle Plaza are also without water while the work is being executed. In addition, 11 communities and the adjoining areas will be without water today. In regional and international news now, regional news. Referencing the devastation, destruction, and war in major countries around the globe, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley says the Caribbean is obligated to remain a zone of peace. Motley, who was speaking at the closing ceremony of Trade Winds 24, says the matter is even more urgent given the political unrest in Haiti, the land dispute in Guyana, and the rising homicide cases across Barbados. Prime Minister Motley says the Caribbean stands on the precipice of grave danger if the crises aren't handled appropriately. She says the expressed commitment of CARICOM's leaders to the Caribbean remaining a zone of peace requires much more than words. Motley called on her fellow regional leaders to match the words with responsible actions. The closing ceremony for Exercise Trade Winds 2024 was held at the Lloyd Erskine Sanderford Centre in St. Michael last Friday. In international news now, the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court says he's seeking arrest warrants for Israeli and Hamas leaders, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in connection with their actions during the 7-month war between Israel and Hamas. Karim Khan says he believes Netanyahu, his defense minister Yoav Gallant, and 3 Hamas leaders, Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed Deif, and Ishmael Haniyeh, are responsible for war crimes and crimes against humanity in Gaza and Israel. The prosecutor must request the warrants from a pre-trial panel of 3 judges who take on average 2 months to consider the evidence and determine if the proceedings can move forward. Israel is not a member of the court, and even if the arrest warrants are issued, Netanyahu and Gallant do not face any immediate risk of prosecution. But Khan's announcement deepens Israel's isolation as it presses ahead with its war, and the threat of arrest could make it difficult for the Israeli leaders to travel abroad. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said the decision to seek arrest warrants against Israel's leaders is a historic disgrace that will be remembered forever. And that's it for the local, regional, and international segments at 12. Up next, sports.
The Midday News was brought to you by Total Tools. We almost always have it.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
We are away first time. Coleman got a solid start, but not a spectacular one, but he's into his running now. Gatlin's trying to go with him, but it's going to be Coleman's night here in the night sky of Doha. He's in a class of his own, and at last, Christian Coleman has the title missing from his CV. He's done it, and in a massive, massive time, 9.76. Gatlin got the silver. DeGrasse took the bronze.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Christian Coleman, 60-meter world champion and 2019 100-meter world champion. Follow my progress in Paris on Nationwide 90 FM.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, up-to-the-minute local and international sports news. This is the Nationwide Sports at Noon.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to your midday sports report here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Cricket fans in Jamaica will have the opportunity to see the West Indies in action when they take on South Africa in 3 warm-up matches as part of their ICC Men's T20 World Cup at Sabina Park. The games, which are T20 International A games, are set for May 23, 25 and 26. They just happen to fall in the warm-up segment, but there are 3 T20 Internationals, not practice or warm-up games. Now, the Jamaican batsman Brandon King will captain the West Indies, and he says this will give them the opportunity to fine-tune their preparation as they get ready to compete in the T20 World Cup proper.
Extremely happy, I'm always, excited to play at home. Last time we were here was against New Zealand, I think, a couple of years ago. So it's good that we get some cricket, especially leading up to the World Cup. There's a little bit of excitement, with the fans. So I'm happy about it. It's part of the preparation, It's good to match practice is something that you can replicate in training. So obviously we're coming from a training camp, and this is our opportunity to put those plans and skills in place. So we're very much looking forward to it.
King says winning the series is not their only goal.
I feel the guys are not here as yet, but I think the communication has been clear with the whole group. We know how we want to play, and the guys that are here, we're looking to implement that in this series and see how it goes, and hopefully it's good preparation for us. We have a way that we would like to play, our cricket, and this gives us an opportunity to put that into a game. So, that's really what we're looking to get out of it. Obviously, we're looking to win the series, that goes without saying, but, everybody has their roles, and we're looking for them to perform.
That's Brandon King. The West Indies are in Group C for the World Cup alongside New Zealand, Afghanistan, Papua New Guinea and Uganda. They bowl off their campaign against Papua New Guinea at the Guyana National Stadium in Providence on June 2. The first match in Trinidad and Tobago will be on June 12 when they take on New Zealand at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. Cavalier Football Club are champions of Jamaica's National Premier League for a third time. The Rudolph Speed conditioned unit beat defending champions Mount Pleasant FC 4-3 on penalties in the final at the National Stadium last night. The teams were 1-1 after regular and extra time after Richard King cancelled out Devontae Campbell's early second-half strike, which gave Mount Pleasant the lead. Romeo Guthrie and Ladale Ritchie missed for Mount Pleasant from the spot, while Dwayne Atkinson did likewise for Cavalier. In the playoff for third spot, Arnick Gardens slammed Waterhouse 5-1 on the back of double strikes from Shea Smith and Kaheem Dixon. Arnett will now join Mount Pleasant and Cavalier as Jamaican clubs who will be playing in the Caribbean Club Leagues come next season. Upsetters A retained their title after beating Jamalco 50-37 in the Supreme Ventures Netball Major League Final at the stadium courts yesterday. The coach of Upsetters, Nardia Hansen, says she was always confident of victory.
I wasn't expecting the scoreline to be that much, but we're grateful for the win. I mean, to play a team like Jamalco at a finals, we were expecting a closer game.
That's Nardia Hansen. In the minor league final, Maxfield B defeated Queen's Park B by 30-18. Coach of Maxfield, Wayne Wallace, says his players performed above expectations.
They perform better than what I expect, We played this team earlier on a top of the table clash, and we beat them by 2. So just reminding them that it's a new game this, and them not to take it lightly. Not because them beat the side already, don't mean that they must beat the side again. What happened today is that we get the full team today, the full squad was here, so we get to make the changes and put the people them, right people them where they must go. We'll come out a winner.
Wayne Wallace. Malines A edged out Speg A 36-35 in the Marathon Insurance Brokers Intermediate Division A final. Malines coach Naimwali Gordon said poor personnel changes gave Speg a chance in the fourth quarter.
Going into the fourth quarter, we were up by 6.
So I said to them, go out there and maintain, because we know Specs as a team is not going to stay back. They're going to keep coming back at us. We lost our head a bit when I made a couple of changes, but I spoke to the ladies, they stuck to the task and they press on going into the stretch. No, I wasn't worried. I still believe, I still had the belief. There was still a change that I had to make, which was my super change. I did make that change, put back on the goal attacker Mika.
That's Nimwali Gordon. And in the Division B final, Ultra Race Magic defeated Global B 38-37. Jamaica's number one tennis player Blaise Bicknell secured the men's singles title at the Bounty Invitational Classic at Couples in Ultra Race yesterday. Bicknell turned back the challenge of his national teammate Randy Phillips 6-4-7-5. Bicknell, who has decided to become a professional after graduating from college, collected $120,000 for his win, while Phillips pocketed $60,000. Bicknell was elated for the victory but gave credit to Phillips for pushing him all the way.
Competitive throughout. Randy played well. The tournament was a great tournament put on by Sangi David, and it was just a great match overall, and it's a great vibe here in Ochi.
That's Blaise Bicknell. Phillips says he played well, but Bicknell pushed him at crucial stages.
I played pretty well in the first set. It was just 1 or 2 points at 5-4 where he played well and I made 1 or 2 mistakes. But overall, I served well. I was hitting my forehand really well. I thought my backhand was consistent. But he's he's just a player of a very high level. You can't really make too many mistakes. He'll capitalize.
Randy Phillips, the ladies' singles title, went to Shani James, who outlasted Maureen Williams 6-2, 6-3. The Minnesota Timberwolves knocked defending NBA champions, the Denver Nuggets, out of the playoffs by beating them 98-90 in the 7th and deciding game of their Western Conference semifinal series last night in Denver. The Timberwolves were trailing by 20 points at one stage in the third quarter, but they staged a comeback to win Game 7 and to take the series 4-3. Karl Anthony Towns and Jaden McDaniels each scored 23 points for Minnesota, who will play the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota won for a third time at Denver in their series, and victory meant they reached the Western Conference Final for the first time in 20 years. In the process, they became the first team to come back from a halftime deficit of more than 11 points to win a Game 7. Timberwolves shooting guard Anthony Edwards once said once they were confident that they would one day remain patient, they would prevail.
It was tough, man, because I couldn't find my rhythm tonight. So I just had to trust my teammates, man. They kept trapping me even though I was off. So I just had to make the right play throughout the rest of the game, man. And I did that, and my teammates made shots, man. So big shout out to those guys. There's more ways to win a basketball game when you're just not an offensive player, man. I'm not one-dimensional. I'm not just a guy who can score. Whoever their best guard is, I can go lock them down. So I feel like I did that on Jamal in the third quarter and fourth quarter, and that's what turned the game around. I think our poise was the most thing. We was very poised throughout the entire game. We was down 15 at the half. We came in the locker room. Finchy like, hey, Ant, you got to play quicker. You got to play quicker. If they're going to continue to trap you, you got to make the right play and trust your teammates. And we was just poised throughout the entire game. They went up 20. We just fought, and Cat played spectacular tonight, man. He carried us tonight.
That's Anthony Edwards. The Indiana Pacers also progressed as they earned a 130-109 victory against the New York Knicks to win their Eastern Conference semifinal series 4-3 in the Garden. Tyrese Halliburton scored 26 points for the visiting Pacers, who set an NBA playoff record by shooting 67.1% from the field. They'll now take on Boston in the Eastern Conference final. And it's now time for the Nationwide Olympic Fact, and it's sponsored by Juicy Patties.
This is Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
Did you know that Usain Bolt is the only sprinter to win individual gold at 3 consecutive Olympics Games? Yes, that's a fact. Usain Bolt won gold medals in both the 100 and 200 meters in Beijing 2008, London 2012, and 2016 in Rio.
That was Nationwide's Olympic Facts, brought to you by Juicy Patties, serious Jamaican food.
All right, and that will do it for your midday sports report here on Nationwide 90 FM. Sports is going to be back on the station at 5:25 this afternoon. Until then, I'm Wayne Walker. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
loans, I lend you 500 grand. We buy appliances and electrons. All flexible, payment plan. Yeah, man, a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah, man, a hot cash. 500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand for buy steel and black. 200 for furniture, laptop. 200 for keep birthday bash. Yeah, money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures, and appliances at coolmarket.com.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Fraser Price gets the start, and look at this, Ahuri going well, and here they're coming to close it down. Jetta's coming through, but Fraser Price on the near side, the Olympic champion defends. She defends the title. Wonderful run by Celia.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Pizza Hut. Now, that's delivering from all locations, island-wide.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
To recap our top stories making the Nationwide World at Noon, Andrew Holness says no dual citizen should be eligible to sit as Prime Minister opposition leader, even as he supports dual nationals as MPs. And Prime Minister Holness says the PNP is no match for his JLP. Political commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang says the matter of dual citizens as MPs should be settled in a referendum. Acting Director of Public Prosecutions defends the state's record of prosecuting gangs. I'm Tona Thomas. You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiogm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store. Major news next at 5.
Never before in our history has there been more roads built or under construction at the same time. The Maypen to Williamsfield Highway, the Montego Bay Perimeter Road, the South Coast Highway Improvement Project, and many more. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is
12:32.
This is Wayne Walker from Nationwide 90 FM, and I'll be reporting live from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Nationwide 90 FM understands that this could be the best Olympic Games ever. Never miss a single moment, update commentary or analysis from the 2024 Paris Olympic Games when you tune into Nationwide 90 FM.
Karani James is coming at Hudson Smith, but watch the Jamaican! Here comes Antonio Watson, this could be a photo finish! The Jamaicans got it!
Nationwide 90 FM, we promise to give you A+ coverage powered by our silver sponsors, Digicel and Supreme Ventures Limited.
Is this real? Hey Greg, come look at this. Oh my, it's happening. Mr. Daniels, the numbers keep getting bigger and bigger.
Sir, the clicks are off the charts.
Hello, sales? What's the emergency? 9,000 clicks in one day? 3,000 order? So much we have left? What? I soon call you back. Mr. Nakamoto, it's Danny from Jamaica. I need 5,000 of the big ones. We're back in business.
Yes, sir. Arigato. Suene.
Amplify your brand. Let Nationwide 90 FM assist you in tapping into a captivated audience across our social media platforms. For more information, contact us at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Businesses, companies, and entrepreneurs, let's supercharge your brand.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371,
630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right, like a rock, like a rock.
Good afternoon, 12:35 in the afternoon. We won't be having timeline this afternoon, but we are here to continue with a few more of your calls. And my last caller before the break, Myrna, said she was celebrating a birthday, right? And we want to wish Myrna, she says she's approaching 90. 90, yes. And she is at 90, gonna resume her duties as a citizen of Jamaica by voting again. Yes? But Myrna wouldn't tell me who she planned to vote for this time round. Yes? So people have been commenting. Who you think Myrna gonna vote for? I have no clue. Yes? I have no clue. But Myrna said to me, after this morning, she had done with voting, but she's going to vote again. Yes? And I want to wish her happy birthday. Yes? From all of us here at Clif Hughes Online.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
To show just how much we love you, and I'm sure you would agree. What could fit more perfectly than to have a world party on the day you came to be? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. I just never understood how a man who died for good could not have a David Wood. He said, aside for his recognition, because you can never be, just because some cannot see. The dream is clear as he, that they should make it become an illusion. And we all know everything that each different time will bring, or in peace our heart will sing. Thanks to Martin Luther King. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Okay, so that's for Myrna, yes, who's celebrating her birthday. Have a good one, Myrna, and wish you many, many more. All right, time to go back to the phones now. Greg, good afternoon.
Mr. Hughes, how are you?
I'm alive.
Mr. Hughes, you know when you have a certificate of title, right? Issued, a duplicate certificate of title issued by the title office. In the top right-hand corner, it has a notation to say, do not to be removed from the title office. It's on majority of the certificate of title, I see. Mr. Hughes, one is missing. Volume 137, folio 66 is not where it's supposed to be. Now, Mr. Hughes, I'll tell you about an incident that happened in 2019. I am a real estate developer, and I subdivided a property. I took off about 2/3 of the property and left 1/3, and splintered that 2/3 of the property. And the remaining land was just abandoned. I had to write to the then Commissioner of Lands, Miss Elizabeth Steer, and within 48 hours, she made me got that the title for the remainder of land. When this particular title, which is volume 13766, when it came to my attention that it was missing, I wrote to the registrar, which is Miss Walcott, and up to this day, she no answer. No, Mr. Hughes, she was the registrar at the time. That prevented me from getting the title that Miss Steer had to instructed her to release. Now, Mr. Hughes, I've been sounding the alarm from the other day, and I'm telling you, there are things happening at the titles office that needs to be investigated. You can't. What if you walk? What if one day you drove to Bradley Avenue and didn't see Nationwide? How come something that is not supposed to leave the title office is not there? I mean, who is the chief custodian of the Queen's Land? Now, Mr. Hughes, it may seem like nothing to a lot of people, but something is wrong. I am still awaiting.
Something is wrong at the titles office or the National Land Agency? Which one?
Mr. Hughes, I would say to ask Miss Walcott, because when she is now the Commissioner of Lands, when she was the registrar, the incident that I told you happened. It happened while she was the registrar there. And I pleaded and begged with her to release my title, and she did not. Miss Elizabeth Steer had to instruct her to let me get my title. Volume 1524, folio 21. Now, with this 13766, it is amazing what is happening, because it's a simple question. How come a title that says do not leave the register books of title is missing? Who took it?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Hughes, all I can do...
And you want the Registrar of Titles, Miss Walcott, to answer?
She must. Because I sent her an email and she's not responding. And it's a simple question. Where is it?
So this title, you have an interest in this title?
But she instructed an employee and who became an ex-employee to say that they saw it.
Oh, no. That no. You're gone into, she says, yes,
No.
you're gone into hearsay. No, don't repeat that. Because that is what you hear. That's what you hear. What you're calling, hold on, sir. What you're calling for is for some public attention to be drawn to what's happening at the titles office, where titles are concerned, especially in relation to them leaving the office. Is that it? What is the specific problem you're having?
The specific problem that I'm having is that Miss Walcott...
Don't bother with the name, man. What is the specific problem? Leave out the name.
I need to know what happened. When did it went missing, because it's affecting
When
me.
did what go missing?
Volume 137.
Well, why don't you ask your lawyer? Ask your lawyer to follow it up, sir.
I'm a lawyer at responsibility, Mr. Hughes.
No, but I'm telling you, coming here, how coming here, yeah? And clearly seeking to embarrass the people and Miss Walcott.
I'm not
going to help you. What you need is for your title to be found. Right?
Mr. Hughes.
Hold on, sir. What you need is for your title to be found. Is that it or not?
Mr. Hughes.
Could you answer my question, please?
And I'm saying I had interest But the matter is of interest to me, and I've had similar experience.
And I'm saying to you, the best way to deal with it is not to come here and shout, but to come to find your attorney, let your attorney do what they call a search, and speak with the powers that be at the title's office. That is more productive.
So I did that, and the response from the title office is saying that it is missing. And I'm sorry if my voice is strong enough, Mr. Hughes. So,
No, but you are engaging in something that I'm uncomfortable with. I don't know you, and you're calling people's names.
Well,
yeah, and I don't know you. I don't know if what you're saying has any merit to it at all. Speak to the issue, and I'm saying to you, based on the problem you have identified, the best way to go is to get a lawyer, retain a lawyer, and have the lawyer do a search. And when that search is complete, the lawyer would best advise you as to what to do. Coming here is not going to solve the problem.
Because I did that what you just said, and the response from the title office is that it is missing.
What did your lawyer say? Having been told that the title is missing, what did your lawyer say?
What is it my lawyer can say? My lawyer is not the custodian.
No, your lawyer can initiate certain action, yes, to find out more. Do you have a lawyer?
What action?
Do you have a lawyer?
But I just told you my lawyer received the information that it is missing.
And
what else can he do?
And
what? That is what I need to find out.
And you think coming here is going to solve that? Sir, no bother with it. Have a good day. No bother with me, man. Oh, time for the break.
Profit with purpose in Jamaica with Mayberry Jamaican Equities. Make your money grow. The time at Mayberry Jamaican Equities is
13 minutes to 1.
Invest in Jamaica and make your money grow. Invest in Mayberry Jamaican Equities Bond, a safe and purposeful way to invest. How? We carefully invest your funds in top local companies, empowering you to profit from multiple businesses, not just one. With a minimum investment of just $20,000 and an interest rate of up to 10.5% per annum, it's more than just growth. It's profit with purpose. Discover more at www.profitwithpurposeja.com or contact your investment advisor for full details. Profit with purpose. Invest with Mayberry.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of The Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
The Oasis is brought to you by Solar Tech Jamaica. We use the gift of the sun to power our world.
Our phone numbers are 630-9371, 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and 618-8255.
My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright. My walk had purpose, my steps were quick and light. And I held firm to what I felt was right. like a rock, like a rock. I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock.
Good afternoon, Earl.
Good afternoon, sir. You.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm calling you from overseas. Hello?
Yes, you said you're calling from overseas.
Yes. Be honest with you, Mr. You. I listen to you every day. And because of you, I take a 2 o'clock shift work. Because I want to hear what is happening in my country. But I'm not comfortable as how Jamaica is running right now. It's not about politics. It's about fact. I was living in Jamaica, working in Jamaica, had a co-worker who was executed for not declaring his assets. They never have anything to declare. And even though I advised him to do so, declare, he didn't have anything. He didn't do it. And he was prosecuted for that. We have a prime minister in Jamaica. And he has not declared his assets. On.
No, sir, that's not true.
Has he declared his assets?
Yes, sir.
And I have not heard that much of it at all.
Oh, what you're confusing. Yes, you're confused. The Prime Minister has declared his assets, filed his returns. Yes. However, the Integrity Commission, in its wisdom, has not been able to certify what the Prime Minister has declared. You see the difference?
Why see it if it has not been verified? That means something is wrong. Something is wrong. It's not, not 1 year ago, it's not 2 years ago.
Absolutely. And you may make that point, because why is it that they have not been able to certify his declarations? Very, very important and troubling question. But that is a big difference from saying that he has not declared.
Well, if I have seen that, if I understand that it has not been verified, then I see it has not been declared as it.
No. Two different things. Two different things. Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
Yeah, I'm
listening.
saying two different things. The law requires some public servants, not all, to make annual declarations. And then it is up to the Integrity Commission and its staff to go and check to see whether what you have declared is in fact so. And that's where the problem is. Yes, and the Commission has been deafeningly silent on what is the status of the Prime Minister's declarations, going more than 2 years now.
Yes. I need to know.
Yes, but I hope you correct yourself now and do not fall into error the next time by saying he has not made declaration.
I don't fall into any error, but I feel it has been not clear as yet.
No.
However,
No. If you are not able to comprehend the difference between not filing, not declaring, and having what you have declared, that which you have declared, certified. If you can't comprehend the difference, then boy, I can't help you. Have a good day. That's where we're going to leave it for this afternoon. Yes? We want to say thanks to all of our callers, our contributors, yes, our producer, Norige Banton, our technical operator, Mr. David McLeish, and before him, David Williams. Kevin Williams. Thank you so much. That's where we're going to leave it for today. We're going to make way now for Oasis with Loy Gale.
I was strong as I could be, like a rock. Nothing ever got to me, like a rock. I was something to see, like a rock. And I stood arrow straight, unencumbered by the weight of all these hustlers and their schemes.
You've just heard Clif Hughes online on Nationwide 90 FM. Join Clif Monday to Thursdays between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. for Clif Hughes online.
Like a rock. My hands were steady, my eyes were clear and bright.